expecting to develop so far.
Potentially from these storms. So tornado warned storm is what I'm more so focusing on. It's right along the Highway 20 mark right now. As you head into Buchanan County, this tornado warned storm does have radar indicated hail sizes of up to a golf ball sized hail, also some lime sized hail potentially in that storm as well, which is going to be pretty indicative also of seeing that rotation within storms as well, and get hail with that too. So hail is also one of the other things that we have been working with and have been focusing on for that potential of seeing some damaging hail from this storms, as well as that tornadic threat, which is what we've been focusing on for these storms.
Yeah, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect. This is for Benton and southern areas of Buchanan County. So if you weren't under the warning earlier, you're under the warning for this. This is a cell that's near the Mount Auburn area right now. That's north of 218. This is for hail at about 1.25 inches in size. Again, that puts it up to about quarter size hail. Mount Auburn, it should move off toward the east, probably about 25 to 30 miles an hour. Not wind in this storm, but certainly some large hail, kind of pinpointing one of the areas right now where we're seeing some of that hail, as we can see just south of Mount Auburn, right around 18th Avenue to 55th Street up to 53rd Street. Keep in mind that that's where you could see the hail moving right through the city of Mount Auburn, and then that hail continues farther off. It could hit the city of Brandon as well, and eventually if it moves a little bit more east towards Spencer's Grove as well as Rowley as we enter southern areas of Buchanan County.
And what we're on the air for, though, right now, in addition to those severe thunderstorm warnings, is the tornado warning in Buchanan County. Let's take a look at Max 2, where we've got that area of rotation looking fairly well defined, just northwest of Independence, or very close to the city itself. And so you definitely need to be in your safe shelter for areas near and north of Highway 20 in Buchanan County. That would include the city of Independence. That would include areas near Doris, as well as Winthrop, and over toward the Buchanan Delaware County line. Delaware County not included in that tornado warning at this stage, but if this storm maintains its intensity, and it's just about as intense as it has been all day long, that is what we're watching. There are potentially some damaging winds too. There's a storm spotter watching this storm closely and just reported to the National Weather Service that there may have been some damage from some of the winds associated with this storm too. Sometimes you can get some wind on the backside of storms that curls around that hook echo and provides some additional gusts. But right now, the tornadic threat is one that we're watching and staying with you here live on TV9 for additional information. So again, if you live within those areas mentioned on the screen or anywhere near them in rural parts of Buchanan County, it's very possible that a tornado will take place with this storm as it moves through.
So again, take this storm seriously. As Corey mentioned, certainly continue to watch and get into that safe place as quick as you can. If we can pop up pinpoint Doppler radar, we'll be able to see it. If you can keep the maybe Max 2 in the little box and keep Max 1 in the big box right now, just for a short period of time, you'll be able to see where that rotation is in the storm in areas of Buchanan County, but also you'll be following the storms that are scattered across the area. That's all the way to the north, heading down farther to the south, as we can see in an extended area of isolated or discrete cells, not really kind of conglomerating together that we see many times into one large line that's going to produce a lot of wind. It is areas, as we said, of tornadic development potential as well as the possibility of hail, and we certainly have seen that across the area in many locations. I understand we have some hail pictures that we can take a look at from the Cedar Falls area. We have no significant damage reports. There you go. There's some pictures, and there you go. And this is a great way, if you're going to take hail pictures for us, compare it to something. You see a quarter in the middle of that picture, all those much larger than a quarter. So you're talking about a quarter is about 1.5 inches in diameter or so, about 1 inch in diameter. This is bigger than that as we head up toward ping pong ball, golf ball size hail as well. We have had some baseball size reports. There's a golf ball and there's the hail. You see that as well. So numerous reports of golf ball and ping pong ball sized hail from these storms. These again from the Cedar Falls area. Thankfully at this point no significant damage has been reported. So thank you. We appreciate that when you send those pictures to us. That helps us see exactly what's happening in the storm as well. Line of storms scattered across the area. They'll be with us for the next several hours as they move off toward the east. Still no warnings. The one warning down toward Ottumwa, but as we head along Highway 20 is kind of the spot northern areas. as we can see, of Benton County heading into southern areas of Buchanan County. A new severe thunderstorm warning, though, just issued. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. That is for most of Benton County. That'll be until 5:45. Also looking for some hail. So those cells we've been following for the past couple of hours off toward the west, initially near Des Moines and Ames, have continued to strengthen, and now pockets near Vinton, Van Horn, right along Highway 1, as we can see, just up toward Interstate 380, just off to the west of Lynn County. Some hail that could be about 1 inch in diameter. We could expect larger hail as well as those storms continue to move off toward the east and northeast. We do have some golf ball hail reported in the storms down in Ottumwa.
Yeah, so it just goes to show what you can find in these storms across all the area. And those storms in Benton County would tend to move toward the Cedar Rapids, Marion area. We've also got other storms in Poweshiek County that could come close to the Iowa City, Coralville area too. And so even if you haven't seen storm activity just yet, certainly not out of the woods, and definitely not out of the woods in the Buchanan County area. Max 2 could show you in the main box there a little bit of that rotation. Still no official reports from storm spotters. The radar indicated notice there on the warning continues, but it is pretty strong rotation at this point in this storm. It's pretty far away from the radar site in the Quad Cities, but it's showing decent amounts of rotation that would lead us to believe that you could see tornadic development anywhere just near and northeast of Independence. Winthrop would be potentially in line for this too, as well as areas just west of Masonville. If you live along Highway 187, coming north out of Highway 20, another spot that would be where storms could easily affect you within the next 10 to 15 minutes, likely, as this storm tracks off to the east. So it still could produce very large hail, if not that tornadic threat. So it's sort of a two-pronged issue here as we look for those areas. But again, no immediate indication at this time that there has been a tornado or that a tornado is likely. So that is good news at this point, at least. But we will, of course, continue to track it. Very dangerous storm moving through that area.
Looks like the rotating part of that storm could arrive in Doris right now. Winthrop, we've been mentioning Winthrop, about 5:15. Buffalo County, Creek Park, that's at 5:17. Masonville at 5:28. Coffins Grove County Park, right around 5:33, and Manchester, the airport over in Manchester, 5:36 is when we would expect the rotating part of that storm. If you are in that area, definitely be in your safe place. That's where you need to be to stay safe. That's where your family needs to be to stay safe as well. In addition, in that area, we're looking at the potential for 2.5-inch hail, so that is up to about tennis ball sized. Certainly some large hail in spots, kind of pinpointing some of that we did earlier. As we see that's just off to the southeast of Bryansburg. As that storm moves through areas of Buchanan County, it could move toward Lamont. Looks like at this point it may move just south of Aurora, but that could also feature some large hail. Also some larger hail still looks present just to the north of Jessup. Also within that warning box, certainly not the tornado warning, but that's also under a severe thunderstorm warning as well for those cells. Farther down to the south, we'll take a look. Continuing to see more and more warnings issued. That was the latest one that was issued for areas of Benton County. That includes Van Horn as well as Vinton, Belle Plaine. You see our Vinton City Cam in the lower right-hand corner of your picture. Not noticing any hail. Are you noticing any hail at all?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, so there is also a report from the fire department that in Vinton they're receiving quarter-sized hail or have received quarter-sized hail from this. So currently not seeing hail right now, but that says one cell's passed through, another one is on the way, and so likely to see yet another round of hail falling from this storm as this continues to pass through the area. Again, one of those severe thunderstorm warned cells that is pushing through Benton County right now.
Did have a report near New Providence as well in Hardin County with some quarter-sized hail. There's a severe thunderstorm warning out that direction. Looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning too for portions of Jefferson and Keokuk County. That's for the storm that's coming out of the Ottumwa area that has produced, I believe they had a report of golf ball sized hail
Yes.
down that direction too. So at this point it's warned for the ping pong ball sized hail, but certainly plenty of strong storm activity there. It looks like it may be one storm sort of splitting into two. And so you would have this storm moving to the northeast, this one perhaps moving a bit more to the right toward the Fairfield area. We'll have to see how that evolves over the next little while. But those storms that move northeastward when a storm splits, they can produce very large hail along a path. So that is something to watch out for certain. But what we're here for is the tornado warning that is in Buchanan County. To want to bring us back to there because of the rotation that is present, and it's pretty evident. Joe, you've been showing the sort of the classic reflectivity look, the reds and yellows. But if we turn on the velocity view again, it's a little messy, but there is still some pretty good rotation just near the Winthrop area. So you very much need to be in a safe shelter anywhere near Highway 20 and points to the north in Buchanan County for sure. But even just a little bit south of Highway 20, if you live in rural areas out that direction, the storm can wobble on its track. And so we don't want you to take this any less seriously than the other areas because that potential will be there too. Another area we're watching, there's a second storm right behind this one that you were talking about just near Jessup. There's some modest rotation there too. At this point, that's not what this tornado warning is for, but you indicated, Joe, and I think you're totally spot on. That one will have a pretty good chance to produce hail too. So Independence, once that first storm goes through, you're not out of the woods in terms of severe weather threats. At this point, you may be in better shape in terms of the tornadic threat. Don't let your guard down entirely. The atmosphere very much, especially right along that Highway 20 corridor, frontal boundary hanging out. That is the area that we've seen the ability for storms to rotate get maximized. And there's some indication there that that could continue. The storm spotter that's watching this storm and reporting back to the National Weather Service, he says he's starting to see rotation develop near and south of Winthrop. So if you live in that area, as we've been highlighting, that's the time to head to your safe shelter, below ground if you can, first floor if you can, in an interior room.
If we go ahead and take a look again at some of the storm reports we've seen, it has been mainly hail reports, which is better news than a lot of tornadic reports, again. And you can see that hail right along Highway 20, kind of two areas that have been favored so far with some of those reports, particularly along Highway 20, stretching from Independence back toward the west as we head toward Grundy Center. Some areas produce some of the large hail as well as those systems move through. Just pick a couple of the reports for you. And once again, we continue to watch that cell move off toward the east right along Highway 20, produce additional hail. So golf ball size hail, that in Wellsburg a bit earlier as those storms move through. In the Waterloo area, we did have a report of 2-inch hail. That in Waterloo, that happened about 4:29. So again, as those storms moving through most recently, over in Independence, again, some golf ball size hail. That happened at 5:05. Secondarily, we had another area farther off toward the north. That was started in areas of Floyd County and continues to move off toward the north. We'll continue to follow those cells. There was some baseball size hail reported in these cells as well as they moved across areas of Floyd County. 1-inch hail, that over in Allison as it moved toward the Green area. The report there about, again, some golf ball size hail and 1-inch hail as well in areas of back farther to the west in areas of Floyd County. So again, numerous reports, mainly some hail right now, but we have had that 2 tornado warnings so far as those storms have evolved and moved through. So far, no direct confirmation that we have any tornadoes in the TV9 viewing area. We'll continue to watch that carefully, but we still are on the air right now, as we have until 6 o'clock, a tornado warning that is in effect for areas of Buchanan County. The tornado watch covers all of eastern Iowa. That will continue until 10 o'clock tonight, just to kind of watch those storms as they push through. And as we said, and we've been talking about, both tornado and hail, certainly possibilities across the area as these storms have been moving through. North of Independence right now, the rotation's still holding together. Is it a little more?
It's still there.
Okay.
So we're looking at on max 2 it's still there. It's broad. It's a strongly rotating storm. The narrower rotation that we look for in these situations for a tornado development hasn't really developed in a very clear, well-defined way. That storm spotter that's been following the storm did say that he saw a brief tornado that was south of Winthrop, but it did lift, so it may have been on the ground briefly. And that's within that broader area of rotation that is fairly strong. Some of that is showing up as red near Winthrop, but it's actually, in reality, just the wind going into the storm is so strong, it's kind of fooling the radar. and that rotation is present just near the Winthrop area. If not, the development of a tornado, likely a very strongly rotating wall cloud moving through that area. Now, a bit of a saving grace, maybe we're starting to see some of those other storms in the surrounding area get involved. If we put on the more traditional view that, Joe, you've been working with, and show that storm that's now northeast of Vinton, moving into southern Buchanan, southern Buchanan County. It's starting to move into the area south of that storm, and it may sort of intersect it here within the next 30 to 45 minutes. And that could interrupt this storm's strength too. That would be a good thing, and it may reduce the threat for additional rotation. But at this point, we just have to go with what we know, and what we know is that this storm still has significant rotation in it, and the National Weather Service providing frequent updates on their tornado warning, keeps that warning going until 6, mainly for that area of rotation that's right near Winthrop, and still looking very strong on our radar picture.
And that rotation would take it near Buffalo Creek County Park at about 5:18, Masonville around 5:29. As we head toward Coffins Grove County Park, that's at 5:34. That's outside the warning box right now. We'll continue to watch. Corey mentioned that this could certainly outrun the warning and get out earlier. It looks like that rotation just may, and we'll have to watch to see if the Weather Service will extend that farther toward the east into areas of Delaware County. Again, it's real close and along Highway 20. That rotation will be crossing Highway 180 as well very soon as it moves up off toward the east, again moving at about 35 miles an hour. Be in your safe shelter if you are in those areas. Wide view right now, just to kind of give an indication of what we're happening down to the south. Still watching those storms. Far to the south, almost the entire line has some type of severe thunderstorm warning along it. Most of those certainly are for that potential for some hail as we get closer to Benton and Lynn County. We do have Benton County under that warning, and the new tornado warning probably just extending that one that we've been talking about. Just entering Lynn County right now, so those of you 380 through Lynn County, you'll be dealing with some areas of showers and storms soon. So now until 6:15. We do have the radar indicated rotation now extending along Highway 20 as it heads toward Highway 38. This would include Manchester, Earlsville, as well as Dyersville. We are talking about a tornado warning that's in effect until 6:15. So you want to be in your safe area as that system continues to move farther off toward the east, taking that rotation that Corey's been following near Winthrop and moving it off toward the east at about 35 miles per hour. No indication again that we've had anything as far as damage. We have had a report of a brief tornado near the Winthrop area that got picked up, but continuing to follow that. News crews as well following that as well to see what would happen, what has happened as that storm has moved through the area. Also in that area, farther to the north as that storm moves through, so this looks to be north of Manchester, you could certainly see some very large hail, 2.5-inch hail. You're talking the size of a tennis ball as that system moves through, so be on guard for that as well as that potential for the rotation that would drop down. One more severe thunderstorm warning just issued as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. That's going to take it into southern areas of Minnesota. So this is Howard County and just the far, far northwestern areas of Winneshiek County, and then into southern Minnesota. Very large hail, baseball-sized hail. That's the same cell that's been producing baseball-sized hail or confirmed baseball-sized hail earlier. That will move through far northwestern. It will be north of Decorah, so you don't have to worry about it. Cresco, though, that storm's going to move through your area over in Howard County.
I think it's kind of worth noting, too, that storm you just mentioned, Joe, it's going to need some verification. I'm going to need to see a little proof once you get to the extremes, but the Howard County emergency manager says they had heard of isolated reports of a 5-inch hailstone near Elma.
Wow.
Well, that was where they had that baseball
Sure.
size, like you said earlier.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to want to see that one.
We'll wait and see, but the report is out there right now.
For sure. The storm that is moving through portions of Buchanan into Delaware County is what we're mainly concerned with. The rotation is still quite strong near the Winthrop area and moving to the east. You'll be likely hearing sirens being set off in both counties if you haven't already. I do understand that we have potentially available to us a picture from a Highway 20 DOT camera. Is that correct, or do we still have it? Yeah, it's south of Evansdale in the Blackhawk County area. So they've got another storm moving in there. It's not severe, but wouldn't be shocked if it produced a little bit of hail too, as pretty much most storms tonight have. They have been not shy about doing so. let's go ahead and take back the boxes and take a look at Max 2 at the very least, with that strong rotation moving through portions of eastern Buchanan County. Let me go ahead and put this back on there too. Latest warning is still moving 35 miles per hour. So I know you just recently did this, Joe, but it's certainly worth emphasizing for folks in the path. Masonville 528, Manchester closer to 540, which we've got a good look at it from our city cam in the lower right corner of your screen. So we'll have great views of it as it moves very close to the Manchester area. Oneida at 550, Earlville at 556, and Dyersville, which of course we're getting right near that line between Delaware and Dubuque counties, that would be closer to just about 6 o'clock, and that's near the very tail end of this morning. So the Buchanan County area starting to get out of it, east of Winthrop still very much in it, and then Delaware County has that warning going for another, almost an hour at this point.
Meteorologist Camille Dinka is in the weather lab as well. Camille, you've been looking at our city cams, checking storm reports and stuff. What have you seen?
Been mostly keeping an eye on the Manchester City Cam as well as Vinton City Cams. Both of those do have warned cells that we've been watching, but more so looking at the Manchester City Cam, there have been reports of a wall cloud heading into the area of Manchester from the fire department, which continues to just further give the idea that potentially of that rotation that they're seeing in that storm, or the potential for that. So they're going to have been keeping an eye on that as that storm continues to move into the Manchester area, but just more so just seeing reports of just different hailstones for different storms as those continue to pass through the area. So hail main threats from these storms, but there's again that tornado warned cell that does have the potential for a little bit of rotation within it, that we're continuing to just keep an eye on that as that continues to track off towards the east.
And as you saw, a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued now for southern areas of Buchanan, far western areas of Delaware, as well as far northern areas. It's a thin sliver of northern Johnson County, as well as a good share of Lynn County. This goes now until 5:45, so for about the next 23 minutes or so, it's for some 1-inch hail. So 1-inch hail, that's as those cells that we've been watching since they developed west of Interstate 35 pushed to the east. That means Cedar Rapids, certainly along Interstate 380. It certainly is drive time along Interstate 380, something to watch if you have friends that are going to be out. Just maybe wait for those storms to pass as they're moving through, just beginning to approach 380 from Center Point. Looks like some that hail could be up to 1 inch, some back toward Van Horn as well, but it's moving into Lynn County right now, and that's why that has been issued for areas of Lynn County, a thin sliver in Johnson County. So far, Iowa City not under any warnings. We'll wait for the storms off to the west to see what they do, but the majority of this likely to stay along and north of Interstate 80 for the most part. And then we head into just north of Walker. Looks like some large hail between Walker and Quasqueton, and then heading toward Ryan. That would again under a warning because we will see that possibility of the hail, and 2.5 inches. That takes it up to about tennis ball size. So they are looking for some large hail in the Delaware County area, potentially in the area of the tornado warning farther to the south, about some 1-inch hail, and that's what we're expecting across portions of Lynn as well as far thin sliver of northern Johnson County.
Did get a report from Clayton County, which I believe is not under any sort of warning.
They are not.
Near the Strawberry Point area. They reported a funnel cloud. Looking at radar, I am questioning it a little bit, but don't want to write it out. So that is portions of Clayton County. Certainly with heavy storms moving through, you'll want to be in shelter. There's also a pretty intense storm north of Guttenberg. Again, no warning, right along the Mississippi River, but you can see it's pretty strong. If we actually, I'm going to pull it up for you real quick here. We've got our Guttenberg City Cam available, and you can see the storm moving across the Mississippi. It looks pretty heavy and likely rotating too, although the low-level rotation this far north may be a little bit limited, but it's pretty close to the warm front too. So folks in Guttenberg, no warning, but certainly something to keep a close eye on. Looks like a new update to the tornado warning as well, potentially. I think it's just continuation for the warnings in Buchanan and Delaware counties, just sort of updating as the storms march to the east.
And we'll go ahead and march along with that storm as well. You should be in your safe area. If you're in the Manchester area right now, Earlville, as well as Dyersville, as you see on the previous picture, numerous Very strong storms as well with the lightning. Plenty of energy within the storm as it's moving. There's a potential for some very large hail north of Manchester, crossing Highway 187. It looks to stay just south of Backbone State Park. The rotating part of the storm moving right along Highway 20, heading toward Highway 20 and 13, the intersection as that heads into Manchester, and then continue to move off toward the east. No indications right now of any tornado on the ground. One brief report earlier near Winthrop, but no damage reports that we've had into our TV9 viewing area. Understand we do have a picture of some hail that we can take a look at. This, I believe, from Clayton County. Some of this, was that Clayton County? Okay. Awfully large.
Very much so.
Certainly, you can see a person's
matter how
hand
big
in the
your hand
background.
is.
Right, no matter what. That's a very, very large hailstone. They were under warnings earlier. As Corey mentioned, no warnings right now in effect for Clayton County. That was a storm that passed through earlier. But certainly the large hail is definitely verifying in these storms.
For sure, and rotation continues in these storms too. The area of rotation that is most troublesome is just west of Masonville, which sits right near the Buchanan and Delaware County line. So if you're in Masonville, or again, as we've described, Manchester, we really do want you to be in shelter at this point. Don't hesitate as the storm will move in, and also don't hesitate to wait and see if you can see the tornado itself. Where the rotation is very much embedded within moderate to heavy rainfall, potentially hail too. So we will not necessarily be able to see it, or spotters won't necessarily be able to see it, or you won't be able to see it before it arrives at your location. And so that's why you should just heed the warning, seek shelter, get to that basement or lower level, and stay safe. That's the best bet. Of course, if you take the right steps, tornado warnings don't have to be scary. They're easy to navigate as long as you do what's right and take steps to keep yourself safe.
Masonville, the storm, rotating part of that storm should arrive about 5:29. Manchester about 5:40, so that's about 13 minutes from right now. Oneida at 5:50, Delhi at 5:52, Earlville at 5:56, Petersburg at 6:02, Dyersville or so at 6:04, and Rockville about 6:08. Again, those are some times for you on the rotating part of the storm that Corey had pointed out when we were taking a look at velocity to see how the storms were moving across all of eastern Iowa, and that again across areas of Delaware County as it moves off toward the east. So if you're in those areas, you definitely want to be in your safe place, not only because of that, but we also have some potential for large hail. There's the potential for up to tennis ball size hail just to the north as we see, crossing Highway 187 right now, where we see the darkest of the purples right now. There is certainly some large hail within that area. That takes it along 110th Street, right along the Buchanan-Delaware County line, as Corey pointed out. To the south, about 280th Street, just north of Masonville. Again, looking at some of the larger hail within that storm as well as it moves off, still at about 35 miles an hour toward the east.
Plenty to keep track of as clusters of storms continue to develop. Starting to see some combination of storms, Joe, from that wide view. There's a little cluster west of Waterloo. There is a report from Buchanan County Dispatch. So from, let's see, EMA, Buchanan County Dispatch from Delaware County. So they had discussed that there had been a tornado on the ground west of Masonville, same area we've been talking about in terms of the rotation being its strongest. They reported rain wrapped, as we just discussed too. They also reported it could be up to as much as half a mile wide based on that information from emergency managers. That just came in a minute or two ago. And so it really does bear repeating. If we could look at Max 2 in the big box, that the areas near and north of Highway 20 still very much under the tornado warning and still very much have that threat for a tornado. Seems, at least according to emergency managers, that has taken place. So we'll go ahead and put that storm track on again, just to reiterate those communities of Manchester close to 5:40. So you just have 5 to 10 minutes to find safe shelter, and you should be doing so now. Close to Delaware at about 5:50, and on the eastern side here, Earlville and the Plum Creek County Park closer to 5:56, 5:57 at its current pace and trajectory. But that is the latest report that we have, and rotation, at least on radar, has not diminished in this area, and so it certainly poses a pretty significant threat still. Not necessarily seen, we use the radar data to try to detect areas of debris. Not seeing that yet, but that report from the emergency manager is certainly worth taking seriously.
Yeah, we're looking out through, if you see off in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, we are looking out through your Manchester City Cam, which is right along where that rotation would be as it heads in. If you look off towards, I know it's kind of small, so can we take max 3 full, please? If we take a look off towards the top left of your screen, that looks pretty ominous off towards the left. You get some of that green in that storm, which does indicate that there's for sure hail in there too. You kind of get that green color with thunderstorms when there's hail in them. So that is the area that we are watching for the potential of seeing rotation head into Manchester area. That's the area that they have seen reports of tornadoes going up and down through them, potentially also right now seeing that rain-wrapped tornado in that area. So that gives us a pretty good image of where that cell is moving, and that is right in the direction of Manchester, and this is heading right in your way, right towards you. So you really need to be in that safe shelter at this point if you are in any of these tornado warned areas. That's lowest level of your home or the first level of your home with no windows if you can avoid it. Cover yourself with blankets if you can. It's really, really important right now to be in that safe place and away from anything that could be causing some issues.
And we'll continue to follow this on our Manchester City Cam. Certainly you want to be in a safe place if you're in that area. I don't mind swapping right now. If we want to swap and make Manchester the bigger box and the warning box smaller, there you go. Let's do that just for a little while, kind of follow that through. Camille will be moving the camera around to take a look. We do have an additional warning that has just been issued. This covers
Blackhawk County.
Okay, so it is farther toward the back, so another cell farther toward the back. Areas of Blackhawk County, that will be in effect until
Looks like
6 o'clock.
Oh, 6 o'clock.
6
You're right.
o'clock, 60 miles an hour, about 1 inch hail. It looks south of the city of Waterloo as far as the cells where they stand right now. Looks like they will continue to move to the south. This would be southern areas of Waterloo over toward Gilbertville, where they have been seeing the possibility of some hail as well as some wind. You could certainly get some wind out of any of these storms. We haven't had any high wind reports. That certainly is not one of the things that we expected a lot with these storms, but potential is there. So Gilbertville right now, even near Evansdale, you are going to see some large hail right now, about 1 inch in diameter. So again, that takes it up to about quarter size with 1 inch, so you kind of know what size that is. Moving through numerous reports of 1 inch hail, up to potential baseball-sized hail. One report larger than that will get confirmed as those storms continue to move through. So that's the latest warning until 6 o'clock. Kind of run down all the warnings that we have. Start with a wide picture and we'll go through. Those of you in Buchanan County, or Delaware County rather, stay in your safe spot. We'll run through the warnings. The storm way up to the north, northwest of Decorah, looks like it's going to continue to move into southern Minnesota, produce some very large potential baseball-sized hail earlier. That warning goes until 6 o'clock. No warnings across areas of northeast Iowa. You head into Wisconsin, certainly some warnings out there south of Boscobel, as well as areas south of Prairie du Chien. We do have, again, a warning for Blackhawk County, as mentioned, farther back off toward the west. We do have that warning for areas of Butler as well as Grundy County, that for some 1 inch hail. Areas in Delaware County, still some areas in western areas, I think, of Buchanan County could be seeing some large hail. And of course, we have the tornado warning in effect, especially along and just north of Highway 20. Manchester, Earlville, Oneida, you see our Manchester City Cam following the storm as it moves in. We'll take a little look south and then we'll take a look at the latest warning as well. Areas of Lynn County, that's in effect until 1 o'clock as we do continue to watch the hail potential, along with some brief areas of heavy rain, some frequent lightning as well. Benton County, that warning goes until 5:45. And just widen the picture out right now, we have a warning down to the south. This is our newest warning. This will take it out of areas of Keokuk County as that storm was moving through northern areas of Keokuk, northern Johnson, or northern areas of Washington, southern Johnson, and southern areas of Iowa County. 2 inch hail possible in that storm as it moves toward North English. That'll be in effect until 6:15. So that's our longest standing warning right now, 6:15, with that threat for more hail.
We're getting that storm in Delaware County moving right toward the Manchester area. Our city cam has a great view. Still very strong rotation within that storm as it tracks toward the east. It's still just near or east of the Masonville area. If we can put Max 2 in the little box. Yeah, thank you. We have Manchester within just the next few minutes. So while it does look already very ominous, it's not even the part of the storm that could produce the tornado just yet moving into the Manchester area. Delaware closer to 551, 557 for Earlville, Dyersville closer to 605 to 610. So both of those areas, all of those areas, right along Highway 20 or just to the north. Dyersville, you're not included in this warning yet, but I would just have your plans ready as this storm, at least at this point, has not lost its punch. Now, it is definitely getting disrupted by other storms moving in from the south and southwest. We do want you to keep a close eye on them because those storms also have the potential to produce hail, but they would also have the potential to slow down and perhaps interrupt this storm before it gets to Manchester and points to the east. But at this point, we just don't know that for sure, and we just want you to take this warning seriously and head for shelter until as long as you need to. It does look like there were some more updates to the warnings down to the south as well. Again, just hail is the main concern, but there was a report of 2-inch hail in Van Horn. Not sure if that got mentioned yet, but very large hail in Benton and Lynn County possible too.
In fact, we'll effort some pictures from Van Horn, just sending those to Camille right now, and it does look like some larger hail moved through that area as well. So that has been the primary thing, is hail. We'll see what damage comes of that as we move through the coming days. That storm really moving into Manchester right now. Kind of watching a couple things, watching the rain, the lightning very frequent as it moves through. Kind of watching the trees as well, to see if we see a lot of movement in the trees, if what the wind is doing in that storm as it moves through. So certainly it is moving into the Manchester area right now. You need to be in your safe shelter as that storm continues to move through. Those of you in Manchester, across Delaware County, it continues to move toward Oneida as well as Earlville, a little bit farther off toward the east. So keep that in mind. Eventually that part of the storm could move near the Dyersville area as well. We'll continue to watch that as the storm continues to move. We do have one picture of hail. We'll take a quick look. This from Van Horn as well. Looks like a quarter in the center of the picture, at least from my vantage point. So much larger than quarter. Certainly looks like it could be up to at least golf ball size hail as that storm moves through. So numerous hail reports being verified across all of eastern Iowa this afternoon, now as we head into the early evening.
Had a look, so gain some information about some hail falling in parts of the Cedar Rapids metro too. At this point, not exceptionally large, at least the reports that we have, maybe a little bit shy of nickel sized, but certainly seeing some of that moving through the metro there too. Storm that is fairly strong and likely producing hail across areas that are east of First Avenue, moving up toward the Marion area potentially, in addition to other storms. And it looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning again, Joe.
And indeed we do. The latest one, we're looking farther to the south. So in the TV9 viewing area, that's going to include parts of Washington, southern Washington County, also parts of Jefferson, as well as Henry County, northern parts of those counties. This is also for a couple of things. One, 2-inch hail. That is a possibility. There's also a tornado possible tag on that. So the Weather Service noticing some rotation in the storm with that 2-inch hail, which again, as we said, gets up to about the size of a lime. That's in the storm, and there's enough strength with this storm that the potential would be there for tornadic development as well. So they do have that tornado possible tag. Lightning in the storm, you see that back off toward the west. So again, areas of lightning pretty evident in the strongest parts of the storm, and indeed that's what's happening right now as that storm moves off. I believe toward the east, again, still about 35 miles an hour. We'll take a quick look for you and see how fast that system is moving. And that is moving at, well, that's moving more east at 50. So the southern storm's moving much faster. The one from Fairfield that'll head across areas of southern areas of Washington County, moving more rapidly. The ones also moving into northern Washington, southern Johnson, also moving at 50 miles an hour. So those have picked up. Certainly will have some areas of strong winds. You see the Manchester City Cam right now. That storm is moving through the city of Manchester currently, and with it, very heavy rains. We are noticing some wind moving that city cam around a bit as that storm moves through. Hopefully you are in your safe place as that storm continues to push through. Almost continuous lightning at times as well. We see that as we take a look at the radar in the right-hand corner of your picture, and we take that off right now to show you that cell that continues to move through the rotating part of the storm. Again, no tornadic activity that has been reported, but you certainly see how high the winds are right now in the city of Manchester.
Latest update from emergency managers in the area of Cedar Rapids with some golf ball sized hail reported in the city near 19th and Beaver on the southeast side of the city. So that kind of lines up with where we saw that storm tracking through Lynn County. So we also have a new photo to share of some of the hail in Cedar Rapids. We could take a quick look at that. Yeah, that's at least quarter sized. Good. Again, thanks for the comparison there with the quarter on the palm. Some of it a little bit bigger than that, and you can tell the rings in the hail shows that it's taken a few trips around the storm too, and that's why it was able to get to that larger size. So that is what we've been seeing all around Lynn County. Severe thunderstorm warning continues for much of Lynn County. The latest from the National Weather Service included the potential for golf ball sized hail, which makes sense since we had the report from folks in Lynn County. That we'd be moving toward Marion and eventually up toward Central City and Prairieburg, Springville potentially within the next half hour or so.
Now, as we take a look out through your Manchester City Cam, that's your big camera that you're seeing right in the middle of your screen. Just really seeing, not at this point, the heaviest of the storms has really moved on at this point, but you still are seeing those downpours that are happening, strong winds still happening, hail still happening there too. That rotation potentially just off further to the south, potentially of where this city cam is located, but still seeing through your Manchester City Cam, really heavy rains, really gusty conditions. Hail is falling across not only just Manchester, but other parts of the TV9 viewing area. So it is really, really important to just make sure that you are staying safe tonight and staying indoors and away from where these storms are happening. If you can get out after the storms have moved through your area and get those photos, we appreciate it, but only after they've moved through and when it is safe to do so. We'll continue to just keep an eye on this Manchester City Cam as this storm is tornado warned, as it's the reason that we are still here with you on KCRG TV9, but still seeing the storm bring a lot of lightning, heavier downpours, gustier conditions too.
Wide view kind of show you everything that's happening right now across eastern Iowa, and if we want to swap those now, we can swap those back to Max in the big box and the City Cam in the smaller box. There you go. There are scattered areas of thunderstorms across all of eastern Iowa right now. One cell moving out of northern Winneshiek County, so that again is going to move into southern Minnesota. Numerous cells moving across the areas of southern Clayton County, back along Highway 20, where we've been talking about all day that we would see the majority of our storms likely develop. It has been the Highway 20 corridor right where that boundary has set up. And then farther to the south, as they kind of developed back to the south and southwest, we have some scattered thunderstorms, have some reports of hail in the Cedar Rapids area as well. And we showed you that picture just a bit earlier. That activity continues to move through, not developing as intense, which is good news. And then farther to the south, northern areas of Washington, Keokuk County, as well as southern areas of Iowa, southern areas of Johnson County. The potential there is a storm moves in at 50 miles an hour for some wind, but also some hail within those storms as well. Kind of just stopping the radar loop and just kind of pinpointing the areas that we continue to watch very closely. Of course, the cell that's moving through Delaware County right now, as you see the Manchester City Cam still showing very little, if any, visibility as that storm continues to move in. Certainly some heavy rains in southern Clayton County, south of Elkader. Dubuque, you haven't experienced the storms yet, but you're right along Highway 20, and you certainly will get these storms moving through as well. Numerous severe thunderstorm warnings continue until about 6 or 6:15 along Highway 20, all the way back toward Grundy Center in Parkersburg. Still some scattered, isolated cells out there that we'll continue to watch. And as we move farther toward the south, areas of Lynn County, as we mentioned, with some of the hail that's been reported, some areas of rain. Then you head farther south as we head down toward Keokuk and Washington County. That's the storm that's moving north pretty rapidly out of areas of Washington County. One cell moving through southern Washington County. That cell needs to be watched for the possibility of a tornado. New severe thunderstorm warning issued. This will be for parts of southern or areas of Buchanan, Delaware, and Lynn. This goes until 6 o'clock. So this would include Ryan, Coggin, over toward Hopkinton. That is for 1-inch hail. Again, some smaller hail from the hail that we've seen. This would be just south of where we're seeing the tornado warning take place right now. And with that hail now even updated, the Delaware County hail updated to about 1.5 inches in the warning area right now, expecting about 1 inch hail as that storm moves through. Tornado warning, we'll take a look at that. This could be farther down toward the south. Indeed it is. This is a tornado warning for Jefferson, Keokuk, and Washington counties. That will now be in effect until 6:45. That's the cell that had the tornado possible tag on it earlier when it was issued for some areas of large hail up to 2 inch in diameter. Now rotation within that storm for Jefferson, Keokuk, and Washington County, you are under a tornado warning until 6:45. It does not, or the far northern extent of the box goes to the city of Washington. It certainly includes just a small thin area of Keokuk County right now. We'll kind of pinpoint the area near Richland. Corey will be pinpointing the rotation on this storm coming up in a little while. It's just near Packwood. It'll head toward Pleasant Plain along the Jefferson-Washington County line. And then as it moves off toward the east, eventually it heads up just to the south, probably the city of Washington. But again, that's a new tornado warning. Parts of Jefferson and Keokuk County as well as Washington County. That'll be in effect until 6:45.
And if we take a look at Max 2 as promised, we have some areas of rotation. It's not very distinct, but it is there in far northern Jefferson County. And so we have that out there. National Weather Service saying that they needed to issue that warning for that cause. It was because of the strengthening rotation in the storm, and just because of the nature of the storm too. We have those areas of rotation developing as storms split. Usually the one that stays south has that enhanced area of rotation potential. New severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Lynn County as well as Jones County. This goes until 6:45 tonight. This is the same storm that was moving through the Cedar Rapids area that produced at least one report of golf ball sized hail. It's warned for quarter sized hail moving through Marion at this point. Let's take a, actually, if we can, we'll pull up our Marion City Cam very briefly, then we'll visit our friends up in Delaware County again. Marion City Cam, looking off to the west, shows, well, another storm off to the west where it has that potential for more rain and maybe a little bit of hail, but the heaviest rain is actually taking place behind the city camp, so we may need to spin that around and take a look at what we can see. But we'll put pinpoint Doppler radar back on here and a closer look at the storm in Delaware County. So far, emergency managers there say that the folks along Highway 20 have been reporting winds up to 70 miles per hour from their fire departments. You can see lots of lightning, but we want to take a look at the velocity view. Some indication that this storm is starting to get better organized again. It had lost a little bit of its rotation based on interaction with other storms, started to sort of disrupt its overall strength, but we're starting to see that become a bit more less disrupted, I guess is a good way to put it. And this is putting that storm just south or east of Manchester, very close to Manchester, tracking off to the east. And so that would take it closer to Earlville at about 6:57. That's been pretty consistent. Rockville closer to, sorry, 5:57 for Earlville, 6:09 for Rockville. Moving near that Highway 20 corridor, it may have jogged just a little bit south of Highway 22, or Highway 20 as well. So Delhi, also very close to this area of rotation. I would keep your eyes on that and seek safe shelter. If you're anywhere within that tornado warning box, still in Delaware County, still very much the potential for a strong storm that could produce a tornado.
A couple things. With the warning that's down in Jefferson County, checking, Lauren, if you're in the control room right now, or Ellen, I don't know who's in the control room, if we can check that we're simulcasting on KYOU as well for that storm, let us know when we are, and then we can highlight that warning once again for them. A couple of reports that came through as well. We do have a report of a lost barn south of Winthrop. As that storm moved through. That was one area that had the potential tornado touchdown. Delaware County reporting some power lines down. That's not unexpected. We can take a look at power outages as well just to see what's happening as well, but I would assume that we do have some power outages across portions of eastern Iowa where we've seen some of the wind or possible tornadic storms move through along with the areas of rain plus the lightning. That can also cause some power outages. So certainly want to take a look at that and see how much we are looking at as far as outages are concerned. There's the warning that still continues for the tornado warning off toward the north, just south of Colesburg. So it does still include Earlville, Delhi, as Corey was mentioning, Oneida as well. Some hail, about 1.5 inches or so possible. It's about a ping pong ball size, as well as that rotation that could potentially cause some damage. Apparently has caused, as a report in from a barn down as mentioned, south of Winthrop as that storm moved through. Potentially tornadic damage. That'll be something that will be looked at and taken a look at by the Weather Service as well as the storms continue to move through. Farther down to the south, we still continue to watch another tornado warning in the area. That is for extreme southern areas of Washington County. Right now the rotation within that storm appears to be farther down toward the south. Just south of Washington County, so moving across Highway 1 and then extending across northern areas of Jefferson County, just moving across northern Jefferson right now, southern areas of Washington. Keokuk County, really not a concern. It looks like that's just a small corner. That rotation itself should stay out of your area. Some large hail, though, possible as well. Some 2-inch hail certainly possible as that storm continues to move through. At this point, staying south of the city of Washington. Movement on that storm right now is expected to be probably toward the east pretty fast. It has slowed down a bit. That storm moving east and northeast at about 25 miles an hour. So continue to watch that, potentially moving up toward the Washington County area in the next 5-10 minutes or so.
Still seeing some rotation in Delaware County with this storm. We've got an area that has developed just between Delhi and Delaware, the city, within the county. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning to the west, which we'll take a look at here in just a moment. But to highlight this area, it could be just south of Highway 20 and between that and areas around 245th Street. Again, very close to Delhi. It would be this area here within the storm. There could be other areas of quick spin-ups closer to the Delhi area too. But in terms of what could turn into a more sustained tornadic development, it's still that area there. This storm that's been persistent for the last couple of hours along the Highway 20 corridor still exists, but it is getting interfered with by the other storms moving in from the southwest. So at least that's good news. It perhaps came at just the right time to help disrupt that. But at this point, still very much a valid tornado warning for much of Delaware County. You can see areas near Delaware, Delhi, Gilt Edge, Earlville all should be in safe shelter for the area of rotation that could produce a tornado if it's not already. Joe, it looks like you maybe have that new warning ready to go.
I do. Buchanan County, new severe thunderstorm warning. That's until 6:45. Looking at about golf ball size hail from the storms as they move through. So this is behind the tornado. This is an area that was tornado warned earlier. Now the storms that continue to move in from the west still have that potential to produce some large hail. We're not seeing the rotation in the storm that we had earlier, but seeing that back toward Independence. That's probably the area right now. We'll kind of pinpoint that just off to the west of Independence, just off to the east of Jessup. Some of the stronger cells north of 220th Street to the southwest of Otterville. That's where we can see some golf ball size hail. And then that extends, as we can see, all the way back through Winthrop and Aurora, heading toward Masonville, just off to the west of Backbone State Park. So that's the latest warning. Also some winds up to about 60. That's been pretty common in any of the storms that develop. Have no reported gusts that are any higher than that. Certainly numerous reports of hail low across the area, and we have warnings that extend north to south in portions of the TV9 viewing area. As far as Lynn County, Cedar Rapids not under any warnings. It looks like some large hail from this system, which would be, again, larger than a quarter, about a ping pong ball size near Whittier. North of Springville, takes you just to the south of Fairview. That's right along County Home Road, so certainly some a larger hail in that area right now. So you want to keep that in mind if you have anything outside. Hopefully it is inside. That would head toward Jackson, potentially up toward Anamosa, as well as eventually toward Monticello and Prairieburg as that storm continues its east-northeastward movement, likely around 25 to 35 miles an hour.
Still seeing that area of rotation, and I guess the National Weather Service did update their warning in Delaware County to include that it had been spotted based on a public report of a tornado. It still would be this area that would be just near Delaware and moving off to the east near Delhi too. It looks like most likely for that storm to be producing. The storm chaser, storm tracker that has been following the storm for at least an hour or two now has an eye on it and showed another funnel cloud near and southwest of Earlville, which would line up with what we're seeing on radar too. So areas near and just south, perhaps, of Highway 20 on either side by at least a few miles. That's where this area of rotation is tracking, continues off to the east at about 30 miles per hour. And so based on sporadic reports, occasional reports of touchdowns, no reports of distinct damage at this point, but we keep getting those occasional reports from spotters or the public or emergency managers. And so it does appear that this storm still has the potential, still very much rotating, and has the potential to produce occasional tornadoes for those areas near and south of Delaware.
Let's go ahead and just pinpoint that area with, well, a new severe thunderstorm warning. We'll get to that in 1 second. Let's see where that warning is out for. Dubuque County. That will be, okay, so the tornado warned storm that Corey was just talking about, as that system moves into Dubuque County right now, the rotation part, still back in Delaware County. We'll see if they extend a tornado warning, but now all of Dubuque County until 7 o'clock, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. It's likely not extending the warning yet, although they do have the tornado possible tag, because we know that that system is moving in. We'll watch and see if that's upgraded. Stronger winds, so maybe a little stronger wind on the front side of that line, up to about 70 miles an hour. We certainly saw that as we watched it move through the city of Manchester, and 1.5-inch hail, so that takes it up to about ping pong ball size as well. That would move through all of Dubuque County, so keep that in mind. Stronger winds, hail, as well as that tornado possible as we watch that system continue to move through. That's your Dubuque City Cam you see in the lower corner of your picture. Again, we'll slowly watch that system move into Dubuque. It'll be a little while before it arrives, but anywhere from about, is that still moving about 35?
I believe so. Let me double check. It is, well, they have pegged the overall severe thunderstorm warning at 50 miles per hour. The tornado warning still tracks about 35 miles per hour, so we may be getting a little bit of both, somewhere in between.
So we'll call it 40?
Yeah, sure.
We'll use 40 as, and we'll kind of put it on the Delaware-Dubuque County line, kind of the front edge almost, and just kind of project it out, just to give you a basic idea of when that storm may arrive. So we're looking at Dickeyville around 5:57. That, of course, in areas of Wisconsin. Worthington at 5:58, Holy Cross at 6:05. Farley at 6:07, Epworth about 6:12, Piasta at 6:18, Asbury at 6:24, Sageville at 6:27, Dubuque 6:31, so we're looking at about a half hour, and then it heads into Menominee at about 6:41, that across into areas of Illinois as that storm continues to evolve and move off to the east. That'd be the potential for hail for everyone, and then we'll continue to watch the strong wind, but that rotating part of the storm as well, see what that will do.
Yep, plenty to keep an eye on. That tornado warning continues for portions of Buchanan County. It's still showing pretty significant rotation near or just south of Earlville, same sort of area that gets wrapped up around. And so I'm going to go ahead and draw here on this to sort of give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So the storm kind of is shaped like this on the radar view, and as this part of the storm comes back around, it's that area near where the arrowhead is that you can see that rotation develop sometimes. You can get strong gusty winds on the southern side of that, so areas near Delhi and down toward Worthington could very much get that area of strong winds potentially, but the area of rotation would be basically anywhere between just east of Delhi, south of Earlville, and this portion of the storm. And that's all, again, tracking due east, so it is very much moving near and south of Highway 20. And Highway 20 takes a little jog south as you get into Dubuque County too. So it will be moving in and bringing areas near Dyersville, Epworth, Worthington, as we've all been talking about. Areas you mentioned for that severe thunderstorm warning, but if the rotation holds, we are going to potentially see that last. Now, the National Weather Service will make their decision soon. We'll have to wait and see what they decide. Now, Camille, it looks like you've been taking in, analyzing some of the reports coming in from the National Weather Service.
Yeah, just off of what you were just saying, Earlville Fire has eyes on a rotation from that storm that is tornado warned. So that rotation near the Earlville area is where they're seeing that rotation moving through the area. At this point, it's just rotation. They do not say it is any tornado that has touched down, but that potential for rotation there in that tornado warned storm is something that they're seeing in Delaware County. So again, just something to keep an eye on. Otherwise, just seeing reports of different hail throughout the area as well, and continuing to see hail is another threat as these storms continue to move through the area. Hail greater than 1.5 inches in some cases. You're looking at 2 to 3 inch hail as cells move through the area. So really important to just be aware of that as you see storms moving into your area, that you might be seeing some of that hail. And so it's important to get indoors and stay away from any windows because that hail will do damage as it falls through the area and as these storms continue to track across the area.
As I'm looking around at velocity data, a couple areas I want to highlight. In addition to the one in Delaware County, which is on your screen right now, you can see it's approaching the Dyersville area as well as near the Field of Dreams within the next 10 to 15 minutes, closer to Farley. As we get across that area, our Springville City Cam shows areas of rain, maybe some hail moving in there. That is in contrast to our Dubuque City Cam. I'm going to try to move this real quick. Bear with me here for a second. As there's a storm down that way too, that looks fairly strong. It's going to take me a few seconds, but near and east of Springville, the storm is rotating at the very least, and it's going to produce that hail as a result, but I wouldn't be surprised. I would certainly seek shelter if you live near Viola and north of Martell, just for that outside chance that we have something trying to develop here. No tornado warning for that area right now, but we do have a handful of severe thunderstorm warnings farther south too, and that tornado warning down for areas in Jefferson, Keokuk, and I believe far southern Washington County, Joe?
We do. Keokuk now, that tornado warning for Keokuk County has been taken out, but it still does cross areas of Jefferson, Henry, as well as Washington County. We'll continue to watch. It's moving off toward the northeast. It looks like it's probably going to go just to the south, the city of Washington. A new severe thunderstorm warning issued. This is back for Lynn County on the backside of the system that continues to move through. We're looking at some 1 1/4 inch hail possible in the storms that are moving just north of Robbins in the central city area, particularly right now near Alburnett, near C Avenue, heading over toward North Marion Road. That would be, of course, just near areas just off to the southeast of Lafayette. So that's the area that would be receiving just away from Interstate 380 off to the northeast of Toddville. That's where some hail, 1.25 inches or so, and we've had numerous reports and numerous pictures, thanks to everyone for sending them in, of some inch to dime size hail across portions of Lynn County. Had one report of golf ball size hail. That was also present in Lynn County. Had reports, have not seen any pictures yet of some baseball size hail up in areas of Floyd County earlier as the storms were moving through. So numerous hail reports. And just give you a little wide view, we're not alone. There are thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings across Minnesota, Wisconsin, as well as Iowa. And as these storms continue to the east and move into Illinois, there will be more issued as well. So this is a widespread outbreak of severe weather right in the area that we've been pinpointing for several days, with that threat for hail and tornadic storms. Now potentially across Dubuque County could be more of a windstorm as you watch that evolve and move in, up to 70-mile-an-hour winds with still 1.5 inches hail. Weather Service will not be extending the tornado warning into Dubuque County. They will stick with the severe thunderstorm warning and watch to see what happens as that rotation moves past the Dyersville area and heads into Dubuque County.
New tornado warning, though, just issued for the area I was just speaking about for portions of Lynn and Jones County. This is the area near and east of Springville. Radar indicated rotation has increased in the past couple of minutes, as we were discussing just moments ago. It's this area that is northeast of Springville and southwest of Anamosa, right along Highway 151. Camille, if you want to go ahead and pull up Springville, kind of keeping an eye on it from that perspective. It's a little tough to see from our point of view, and there certainly has been a lot of rain wrapping going on here, but this warning goes until 6:45. Just got the newest scan. We'll go ahead and reset and take a look at where we're looking here. Been very close to Viola, north of Martell, and approaching the Anamosa area too. So you very much want to be in safe shelter within those areas near and just north of Highway 20. There's a couple different areas where we could see that rotation. So I'm going to go ahead and put a sort of broad storm track on here just to give you that information. This one is moving at 50 miles per hour based on information that we have from the National Weather Service. So we'll go ahead and give you a little bit of a heads up here as it moves off to the east. That would be Anamosa within moments. So you're very much in line for this storm to move in. Wapsie, Anna Park at 6:07, Central Park closer to 6:15, Scotch Grove at 6:18, Center Junction at 6:19, and then you get down toward Onslow at about 6:23. So that is the new tornado warning. Just as we thought we were about to get out of tornadic activity, the atmosphere had different plans, and so we are watching this storm, which again has intensified quite a bit.
Oh yeah, no. It absolutely has, and that's what can happen because our atmosphere here across portions of eastern Iowa, which has not seen much in the way of storm activity yet, certainly is still primed for the thunderstorms that we're seeing, still primed for more development, for hail, as well as that potential. There's no change in that potential energy that's out there for tornadic development. And that's why we are continuing to see that present as it's moving through. So we're going to continue to stay with you, of course, and follow the storms as they move through. But if you're in that area, certainly seek safe shelter. And this is a day that you kind of got up this morning and said, you know, it's one of those days.
Felt a little bit more like summer than early April. Plenty of humidity, plenty of warmth, even though we had a lot of clouds.
Right.
It was very warm out there, and that kind of gives you that impression. Plenty of moisture around, and we've got just enough to cause these storms to develop. And here's where we are. As we expected, unfortunately, things did come to pass.
Yeah, and we probably have another couple of hours yet, I would say, to follow these storms as they move west and head across areas of Illinois. And any of the storms that still continue to develop, hail still a threat, tornado is still a threat.
Yeah, hail has been by far the most reports we've seen so far, and we do thank you for sending your pictures to us on U-News. We're processing those, getting some of those onto the air as we can. And tornadic reports have been sporadic, but out there. And so that is certainly something you want to take great care with, rather.
And super glad of two things. One, hail had the potential to be greater than, and it's not to say it can't yet, but greater than 3.5 inches in diameter. We've only had one report yet to verify of one spot that had that size hail. Also, tornadic activity expected to be potentially strong in some spots. Haven't had that yet. Hopefully that continues to hold as we head through the coming hours.
Yeah, we're going to have to do some more damage assessment there from our friends in the emergency management departments, and our reporters will be out and about as well. But yeah, that is something that we've been watching and hoping that things wouldn't get as bad as they possibly could. But you know, it still has another hour or two to go, so we're watching. Looks like we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning.
Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Our new severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued. This will include North Liberty, Solon, and Lisbon. You have not been included in a warning yet. This also includes Iowa City. You are included now for the storm that's moving off toward the north and east. Let's take a look at how fast that storm is moving, and it is heading off toward the northeast. They are saying at about 60 miles per hour, so we're certainly picking up speed on these storms. So I want to go ahead and put a storm track on that. It's moving through the Iowa City area right now, and we'll do as Corey did right at the front edge and then project out. So this would take it off toward the north and northeast. Oakdale about 6:08, Deerfield Park about 6:11, North Liberty at 6:11, Newport at 6:13, Sandy Beach about 6:15, Twin View Heights at 6:15, Solon right around 6:16, that's 8 minutes from right now, Sutliff around 6:21, Ash Park Stadium at 6:24, and Lisbon about 6:26. That again, the potential for some hail that could be up to about 1.5 inches in diameter, which takes it to ping pong ball size. Let's go to another warning that's just been issued or updated for us, the tornado warning, till 6:15. I think they just updated that.
Now it's far eastern Delaware. There's a severe thunderstorm warning right behind it.
Yes.
So yes, kind of extending what we already had.
So it does. We have a hail photo from where again?
Winthrop.
Winthrop. Let's take a look at our hail photo that we have from Winthrop right now. Okay, giving us an indication that's at the top of a pop tab.
Yeah, we all know what that is.
All right, think about the size of that. Think about that hailstone. It is, as we can see, pretty good size hail. That's probably ping pong ball-ish. Just kind of taking a look at it without a ping pong ball right next to it, that would be a guess. And we have had numerous inch, ping pong ball, golf ball size reports across eastern Iowa. Thanks to all of you that have been sending in. We certainly appreciate that a lot. and continue to do that for us. Again, be safe about it, but we do appreciate that to be able to show what has happened in these storms as they've moved through. I've been sending you a bunch of pictures, Camille. Have you had any chance to put some of those together to take a look at?
I have been sending them off to our control room, so hopefully they
Okay.
can start getting some of those pulled in from. But yeah, they're working on it, and we should be able to get.
We have
those
Van
started.
Horn pictures, we have Cedar Rapids pictures, we have Palo pictures as well that have been sent in. Again, greatly appreciate that. And appreciate, as we said, the reference that you put on the picture as well with hail. Good to see that as well. Just take a look at some of the other reports across the area just to see if anything new has come in.
I think we've had a couple more sort of sporadic hail reports again. I don't know, take a closer look. Something near Dyersville that a radio partner was sharing an image. It looks like it may have just come through. A picture of a wall cloud.
Yeah, I was going to say just a wall cloud in the background.
Which is consistent with what we've seen.
Sure.
For sure. at this
Again, the
point.
only real report, we've had some power outages reported in Delaware County. I'm sure there are others. And then we have had report of a potential barn that was down near the Winthrop area, along with numerous reports of hail. Numerous reports of hail, and that's been across all of eastern Iowa as those storms continue to push through. Give you a wide view if you're watching us right now across eastern Iowa. Northern Iowa right now, Decorah, you're pretty clear. You had one warning earlier for the far northwestern parts of your county. You do see the line of storms continue to move through and really pushing pretty rapidly off toward the east and northeast. Numerous warnings also across areas of Wisconsin right now, kind of the areas that were targeted as this system continues to move. As we look down toward the south, one cell near the Ottumwa area starting to move off in that same kind of general direction of those isolated cells that we've been watching, and then more scattered cells along Highway 20, although don't look quite as strong certainly as the previous ones as that system has been moving through. A little closer look for you. That tornado warning down in Washington County, looks like that has moved south of the city of Washington. We'll move through far southern areas of Washington County where they do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect.
Yeah, just issued, in fact.
The severe thunderstorm warning, that goes until 6:45. Again, look what you're seeing, large hail. So you're talking about golf ball size hail in that storm again as it moves off. Again, just missing the city of Washington as well. We do have the warning, of course, farther to the north as we move across areas of Cedar and Johnson County. That's in the Riverside area. Then we move farther to the north. That's your Cedar County warning with the north of Tipton right now. Solon, you'll see that system move through. Iowa City, it's moved through as well. Looks like the main part of that system moved just to the east of North Liberty. We have that tornado warning that does continue across southern areas of Jones County. That cell itself is going to move north of the city of Wyoming. Has moving through Anamosa right now, Scotch Grove, as well as Center Junction. If you're north of that in Monticello or Castle Grove, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. Just realize that any storm that moves through as we head through the next couple of hours has the potential certainly to produce the hail, and then we'll watch for those pockets of rotation and spots in eastern Iowa. It looks like that tornado warning for Delaware County, which goes until 6:15, will be allowed to expire as we do have that entire area once again across Dubuque County under a severe thunderstorm warning. That would be for 1-inch hail and some strong winds. We'll watch and see if that rotation develops again or tightens up, that they would need to change that warning.
I believe we have some new pictures, as we were discussing earlier, from the Marion area. Let's see what we have. That is a pretty big piece of hail. That's at least 2 inches in diameter, potentially, so from end to end. So that would definitely cause some damage if it fell in your neighborhood. So that is an area to watch for sure. That is something that you don't want to find, but unfortunately today was the sort of the right type of conditions, just colder air aloft, lots of energy for the storms to grow big and tall and develop into those storms that are capable of producing hail, and of course the ingredients for storms to rotate. That gets those storms to have the ability and the likelihood to rotate, and so that's why we're seeing that large hail really sustains those updrafts, keeps those pieces of ice aloft, gaining more water and freezing into larger hailstones. So that's the picture we're seeing there. That's from the Marion area just a little bit ago.
And again, maybe not widespread 2.5, 3-inch hail, but in spots we certainly have seen that. And that can cause some damage, certainly. It'll be interesting to see the damage reports that come out after this storm passes through. We're watching the cell as it moves into Dubuque County right now, heading out of Delaware County. There still is some heavy rain, frequent lightning, some hail north of Manchester, scattered pockets behind that as well that we'll watch carefully, have been warned at times. But Dubuque County right now, you're seeing the first area of that storm move in. Not quite to the city of Dubuque right now, but it's getting certainly very, very close. Marion City Cam looking off toward the east. Let's go ahead and take a look down with radar. Down in that area, you're looking at the cell that's moving up toward the Anamosa area. Again, heading through Anamosa as well as just to the southeast of Central City up to Monticello. Heaviest part of that cell has moved through the Anamosa area at this time. Still some large hail within that storm as well as that storm continues to push off toward the east.
Let's look at Max 2 real quick in the big box and just sort of show you this area of rotation that's still moving through areas of Jones County, like you were saying, Joe. It's not well defined. I would say it's not as distinct as it once was. There's a couple areas that we could potentially be looking out for right along and near Highway 64. So it'd be generally near Anamosa at this point, still expecting radar indicated rotation from the National Weather Service, but a couple of spots there that could be the storm trying to rotate. It's not extremely well defined, like we mentioned, but still has that possibility of producing golf ball sized hail, along with the potential for a tornado to develop fairly rapidly. And so that is why this warning continues for another half an hour for Jones County. So if you live in Anamosa, as well as anywhere along Highway 64, Center Junction, as we've mentioned already, Onslow very much included in this too, and all the way over to the Jones County border. Scotch Grove, you're more in the area that may see the hail, but close enough to the area of rotation that we still want you to seek shelter, very much so. And again, they could be in line for some of that golf ball sized hail, which has been in solid supply so far today. I understand we've got more pictures.
Yeah, some pictures from the Cedar Rapids area. Let's take a look at what we've got. There you see some pictures. This again, in the Marion area, I believe that would be a small, if we go back, well, there's dime-size hail. That was reported in the Cedar Rapids in your Palo area as well. Previous picture had a small car, kind of give an indication of the size of that hail. Again, probably upwards of ping pong ball size and some of that as it moved through. So again, that from areas near Cedar Rapids. Previous picture, I believe, from Marion, as those hailstones have continued to fall across eastern Iowa. That one almost perfectly round.
I was going to say, it's just about as good as you can draw it up. If you made a snowball, you wouldn't be able to make it that round, I think. Let's take a look at Max 2 again. Just one other area I want to highlight. It's kind of embedded within heavier rain, so it's going to be hard to discern. It's within the severe thunderstorm warning, which is warned for 70-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail as heavy storms move into Dubuque County and closer to the Dubuque area. But if we switch over to our velocity view, there is an area southwest of Epworth that has shown at least some rotation. Now, there's no tornado warning for this storm at this point. It doesn't necessarily mean that a tornado is imminent, but that warning does have a tornado possible tag with it. And so the National Weather Service has already been keeping an eye on these areas of rotation just in case that they spin up a little bit quicker. And one south of Farley, southwest of Epworth, is one that has been at least catching my eye off the air as we've been analyzing this storm as it's been moving eastward steadily now. Still moving at about 40 miles per hour. If not, the tornadic development, if that doesn't take place, this area of the storm would still have some very strong winds as it moves through. So areas near and south of Highway 20 and even moving up toward the Dubuque Regional Airport and Key West and that sort of area of Dubuque County, you would be in line for some of that, as well as potentially some hail. And there's some signature of that too with this storm moving eastward. Of course, again, no tornado warning for Dubuque County at this point, but one of the areas that we'll watch.
As we take a look at pinpoint Doppler radar, give you a little wider look along Highway 20, and then we'll look at the storm reports that we've seen thus far. Some scattered isolated cells still back toward Waverly and New Hampton. Not a lot of development now, which is good. That can kind of wind this development down farther off toward the west. One cell south of Waterloo, all potentially producing some hail. Strongest of the cells now moving into Delaware County and moving through Dubuque County. Also continuing to move through Jones County as they head off to the east toward Jackson County. Heavy rains, some high winds expected. Just a little farther to the south, We do notice some isolated cells as well. That cell moving through southern Washington County has the potential also to produce some very, very large hail. Northern areas of Henry County, extreme southern areas of Washington County. And then there's one cell that's moving across areas of Johnson into northern Cedar County that also will move very near the city of Tipton. That also could produce some larger hail, as we can see. That again continue to move off in a severe thunderstorm warned area near Cedar Valley and Newport, just off to the west of the city of Tipton. So we continue to watch all that activity across eastern Iowa, but that's kind of how it stands at this point. We'll watch and see. Much of this activity may be along and east of the Mississippi River as we approach the 7 o'clock hour or so. We'll have to watch and see. It is a very rarely rapidly moving storm system that's moving through, developed right around 3 o'clock with our first thunderstorm earlier when we began our live stream with you. We've been with you ever since, updating you as the storms continue to push across eastern Iowa with that hail threat that we've seen. Now, as far as the storm reports that we've seen, let's go ahead and take a look. What you're going to see, lots of hail reports, not uncommon, north to south across eastern Iowa, as well as areas of Wisconsin. We have one wind report as well. Tornado warning. Let me go ahead and get that. Well, they did go ahead. You were watching it carefully, and the area you outlined perfectly. Now across southern areas of Dubuque County, a tornado warning in effect until 7 o'clock. Again, radar indicated rotation, same rotation that we watched move from areas of Buchanan County all the way across Delaware, now into areas of Dubuque County, continue to push off toward the east. Epworth, all the way to the city of Dubuque, Dubuque Regional Airport, right along Highway 151 and Highway 20. Those are the areas to watch very carefully. If you are in those areas, you certainly want to be in your safe place right now with that potential rotation leading to not only strong winds, but also leading to the potential for a tornadic development. Again, tornado warning now in effect for Dubuque County. That will go until 7 p.m.
Yeah, it looks like it's based on an area of rotation that we just discussed with you that was located south of Farley, southwest of Epworth. It's moving east at about 40 miles per hour, so as we were discussing in terms of storm speed earlier. And there could be straight line wind damage with it too. They include that as part of their tornado warning because it's going to be an elongated area of potential rotation. We can show you a storm track on Max 2. That does include areas near Piasta at about 631, which you'll see on our CityCam point of view in the lower right, constant flashing from lightning in the area too. So that can be very dangerous outside of any other threats. You'll get near the Dubuque Regional Airport at about 641, Rockdale closer to 644, Dubuque proper closer to 646. You are included in this tornado warning for the vast majority of the Dubuque City area. And so we do want you to also take this warning seriously as the storm moves through. Again, it's going to be anywhere from near Epworth down to about Cascade along this area where we could either see a brief spin up or more specifically just south of Epworth where we've seen that tightening of rotation ever so slightly. And that's the threat area with this storm as it tracks just east or just northeast. And as you mentioned, Joe, this is the same storm that's been tracking all the way across the Highway 20 corridor since back near Iowa Falls or closer to Grundy Center. And it continues to move to the east and persist despite continuous interaction with other storms and just some factors that have been trying to disrupt it, but it has maintained its strength, although some increase and decrease from time to time. But impressive that it has kept that going across several hours now. It's been since, like you said, mid-afternoon.
Yep, no, it just developed and continued. Atmosphere just absolutely right. That's what we kind of talked about, and I know we have the severe risk for tomorrow again, but the setup is not the same, not quite as good. Doesn't mean we're not going to see severe weather. We indeed have that risk, and we'll have to watch that carefully as we head into tomorrow to see where that risk develops and the risk. But today, just kind of that perfect setup for storms as they move through. Remember, all of Dubuque County is under a severe thunderstorm warning. I'm on Max 1. There you go. All of Dubuque County is under a severe thunderstorm warning. That tornadic warned part of the storm is in the southern half of the county, kind of along and north of Highway 20 from Dubuque, and you head far to the south as Corey outlined. We'll take a look at the latest severe thunderstorm warning, and this will be now for northern areas of Cedar County, southern areas of Jones County. That is the warning that is right. Get it? right here. That goes until 7 o'clock. Again, we're looking at some hail, and we've talked about it. Inch to inch and a half in diameter hail is very common. This would be moving very close to Tipton. It's the cell that moved through the Iowa City area, moved just off, it looks like, to the east of Solon, and continues to move in that direction, probably about 50 miles an hour. We'll put a little storm track on this for you as well, see when it'll move through. Could move just near Clarence and Mechanicsville, and again, could produce some large hail. As we push that out, that would put it very near Buchanan at 625, Red Oak at 630, Stanwood about 633, Clarence 633, Oxford Junction, that arrives at about 645. So again, continuing to watch those areas of not rotation, but areas of hail moving across portions of eastern Iowa. So certainly more hail expected, more hail pictures to come.
Want to highlight the area in Jones County again, which has a tornado warning that continues until 6:15. It does look like there was a report, or not a report, rather, just an update from the National Weather Service. Stand by, let me get the right thing pulled up here. 6:15 has come and gone. This warning goes until 6:45. The update was at 6:15 for radar indicated rotation and golf ball sized hail. At this point, it looks like the rotation would be located very close and west of Onslow, south of Center Junction. And so if you live anywhere near those areas, you should be seeking shelter now. It's a portion of the storm that once showed some pretty tight rotation, and then it weakened a little bit, but it has started to ramp back up again. And that's why this tornado warning continues for another 20 minutes for Jones County, pinpointing just a little bit closer to give you some of the streets in the area. Talking about along County Road E29, again, toward the Onslow area. Anywhere north of Madison Road would have that chance as well. And that's going to continue farther east, right along County Highway E29, as the storm continues to develop and push eastward. I'm going to put the traditional radar view on here for a moment to sort of show you that this storm does have a bit of that hook shape, and that can create that rotation right near the edge. And again, that's just in that area south of Center Junction and west of Onslow. So it lines up with our area of rotation there. I believe we've got some pictures from Masonville now. Masonville is a city that is located in Delaware County. If we can go ahead and take a look at those.
There's reports of damage in Masonville.
Small community, but certainly, okay, we're still efforting those, so we'll get back to that in just a second. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, some power poles knocked down off to the side, and that's not an uncommon thing. We saw some straight line winds in addition to that rotation, so it's not necessarily tornadic damage, but could be based on straight line winds, some grain bins or outbuildings perhaps involved. Roof damage, again, could go either way. It could be from a tornado, or it could be from straight line winds too. So one way or another, damage was reported. Some tree damage too in the area of Masonville. They certainly had a rough time earlier based on these pictures that we've been getting in. And we thank all of you for safely sending your photos. You can still send those to us using UNews. You can find that on KCRG.com, as well as on the KCRG First Alert Weather app. There's a button on the lower right corner that says Submit. Go ahead and tap that. Send your picture on in. Of course, don't take any sort of unnecessary risk to get us photographs. We'd much rather you be safe than have a pretty picture. But if you are in a safe position, hail pictures, damage pictures, very much welcomed. Helps us know what to look for and potentially where to send reporters to get more information as well.
And again, this the pictures you do send, and we do, as Corey mentioned, do it safely. We do appreciate that. Illustrates why we are on the air, why we stay on the air, why we give you the information you need to know as these storms are passing across eastern Iowa, both online as well as on the air. Now, our tornado warning still in effect for portions of Dubuque County, as Corey's been outlining and pinpointing for you. Storms themselves, from Dubuque County, kind of a broken line all the way down through areas of, well, now into areas of Louisa County. That activity is moving east, farther off toward the west, near Manchester right now. There are some cells still moving through. None of those cells, though, as we head from Delaware County back west along Highway 20, any additional warnings on them. Doesn't mean that won't happen, but we're going to watch those carefully to see what happens as the other warnings continue. But we're starting to see this evolve and move farther into areas of far eastern Iowa, and then eventually into areas of Illinois. Give you a little radar tour for you, kind of pinpointing some of the areas. Southern areas of Clayton County, again, a little bit of rain. Strawberry Point area seeing a little bit of rain. There was a report of a funnel cloud earlier in the Strawberry Point area. We do see that Dubuque County warning, both the severe thunderstorm warning that includes the entire county and the tornado warning that does include the southern part of the county. That extends from Graff through Epworth down to Bernard. Does include the airport, does include Highway 20 in Dubuque, as well as the city of Dubuque. You certainly will see some large hail of an inch in diameter, maybe bigger than that, and that will continue. Tornado warning just to the south. We'll take a look at that. That's now been issued across portions of Jackson County. So while just outside the TV9 viewing area, we'll give you the information on that. 1.5 inch diameter hail on the cell that's moving out of Jones County. So they're taking that rotation that Corey was pointing out in Jones County and now extending that rotation in a tornado warning as it is radar indicated into Jackson County. That will go until 7:15. Also 1.5 inch diameter hail possible. So the warnings keep coming as we expect as they continue to move into areas of Illinois. A couple of warnings in areas of Jones County. We do have that tornado warning in effect. But again, most of that rotation beginning to move farther off toward the east. Now west of Scotch Grove, south of Monticello near Anamosa, a second cell has moved through. That's producing some areas of large hail. And again, as we said, anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches in diameter hail, not out of the question. Pinpointing some of that right along Highway 151. We can see that's it is south of Langworthy. Just off to the west of Amber, right along County Road E17, right along 170th Avenue. That's where some of the larger hail is happening right now in Jones County. If you've heard us talk about hail, we've been talking about it for the entire time that the storms have been moving through. First warning that came out was for some large hail. We then have the cell that's moving near the Tipton area. Looks like that has lost some intensity at the present time. Still some high winds, some lightning still possible in the storm. And as we look farther to the south, the original tornadic warned storm now producing some pretty large hail, likely in the Crawfordsville area. That's in southern Washington County. And again, that hail could be up to about 2 inches in diameter, and that's we start talking getting close to tennis ball size hail in spots. So watch that. That's again far southern areas of the state. We look farther back off toward the west and things are quieting down, and for a period of time that is the case. We are expecting them to quiet down. Still do have officially the tornado watch in effect until 10 o'clock for the entire TV9 viewing area. I would expect them to start taking some of that watch out at some point.
Potentially.
Haven't yet, but that watch is in effect. And the primary threats, as outlined earlier this morning, large hail and tornadoes are definitely our primary threats as those storms continue to move across eastern Iowa.
It does look like the area and very near Onslow is where we're looking at the risk for the tornadic development within the Jones County storm. So it's just on the eastern side of Jones County, very near Onslow. You should definitely be in safe shelter there, but we'll go ahead and also add a storm track to show you where it's heading in eastern Jones County into portions of Jackson County too. You can see it's going to be near Emmeline near 645, Iron Hills 650, closer to Hurtsville at 656, and then closer to Andrew, which is in Jackson County, of course, in 703. It does appear that this is still radar indicated, but the rotation on radar has been pretty evident lately, and so we do want you to still be seeking shelter as the storm rolls through. Very intense storm that has had a good amount of rotation with it, and so that's why that tornado warning continues. And not only that, but they extended it, as you outlined, Joe, off into Jackson County. So maybe the most organized storm of the moment, but recall that we still have this storm off to the north. Here's the Dubuque County storm that Joe was talking about as well. Area of sort of broader rotation potential right along and south of Highway 20. This is all moving off to the east or just north of east, and so southern Dubuque County, even northern Jackson County, even though you're not included in a warning right now, over towards St. Donatus and right along the highway extending southeast out of areas near that area, Highway 52. That's where to watch out for potential tornadic development, and if you don't get that, you're likely to get in line for some very strong winds. And it does look like we got a new update of a tornado on the ground based on weather spotters. This was just moments ago, northwest of Wyoming or near Onslow.
Right where you were just pinpointing.
Indeed, and that is tracking to the east. So that warning is now a observed tornado warning, and it's this area of rotation as we pinpoint to give you a better picture of what's going on. It's this area, again, very near Onslow, and that's where that report has been. And so that is the newest information.
What's the speed they have on that?
I believe 40 miles per hour has been what
Okay.
we've been tracking.
I'm going to go ahead and track that at 40.
Alrighty. Joe's going to pull it up here on Max 1 and show you where this potential area of rotation is moving.
And again, it's going to move into areas of Jackson County pretty quickly. Canton about 6:43. Buzzard River Ridge Canoe Stop, that's at 6:44. Crabtown at 6:50. Iron Hills at 6:52. Fulton at 6:59. And Andrew about 7:06. If you are mentioned in those areas, please seek shelter and be safe. This now, again, a confirmed tornado is relayed near the Onslow area with a tornado on the ground.
Yep, an updated report from a ham radio operator in the area, and there was a picture sent along by somebody in the area to at least to the National Weather Service, and there was a tornado. It looks like it was relatively narrow, but it did take place and was sighted there. So that is why those are the reports. We've got a little bit of proof here that this storm can produce a tornado, and so that is taking place. We also had another tornado warning. I'm not sure if you mentioned this one, Joe. It's in far southern portions of Washington County. So bear with me. I'm going to pull back. It's that same storm that was way down south.
They just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning in that same area.
Yep.
Now they've went to a tornado warning.
They did for the same sort of area. And so down toward Crawfordsville, this is exiting Washington County very soon, but it moves into Louisa County near and south of Highway 92. So Columbus Junction, you're included in this warning, same as Wapello and Grandview. But it's Crawfordsville. It's this area right here that we're seeing the rotation. I'm going to go ahead and switch the velocity views. No real change there as we updated that. So it's still this area. The rotation's not extremely tight on radar, but we do have reports from the spotters in the area that they're at least observing some visual rotation in the clouds. No tornado reported at this point, but something to watch out for in far southeastern Washington County, south of Ainsworth, areas along Highway 218 that is crossing into portions of Louisa County very, very soon. Another severe thunderstorm warning. This goes for portions of Jackson as well as Joe Davies County. Yep, so this is for the same storm moving through Dubuque County. This has 70-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch hail. So this is very similar to what's expected in Dubuque County. But of course, at the moment, the Dubuque County storm has a tornado warning. And that goes until 7 o'clock as well. I'm going to go ahead and switch to the velocity view because it's looking like it may be trying to wrap up very near the airport and potentially increase its rotation. Yeah, that area down near the airport, if not just a little bit toward the south. I would identify a couple of areas right near the airport and maybe a little bit farther south too, but I would say for sure that one near the airport is what this warning continues for. Still radar indicated, no reports, but it is headed in closer to areas of population. The south side of Dubuque near the airport, Key West area, that tornado warning is still very much in effect and you want to seek shelter. People in the city of Dubuque too, it's close enough. That storm is intense. You can see it in the lower right corner from our city cam's perspective. And it is still producing very heavy rain and hail moving through that area too. But strong rotation, or at least strengthening rotation, starting to be seen right southwest of Key West. We may get a new radar update here soon. It's this same area that has shown increasing rotation within the past little while. So if you live anywhere down toward the airport and Rockdale, which is on the very far south side of the Dubuque area, you can see more streets getting involved. It's hilly territory out there, but folks do live out there. And that's the area where this rotation has developed. You need to seek shelter immediately.
Let's go take a look at some video that we have in Jones County, Corey and Camille, from Onslow. Apparently,
Okay.
could be the tornado itself.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there you see it in the distance,
Yeah.
certainly. You see the dust coming up from the field.
It's a brief video, but you can see Yeah, that is very evidently the tornado that we were talking about.
So there you go. That's visual proof. And again, as we've talked about, one of the primary threats today was tornadic storms, and that's the one now that is continuing to move from the Onslow area off toward the east. We continue to follow the storms all across eastern Iowa, pinpointed right now for you. I'm just going to widen this out just a little bit. That's Dubuque County. Certainly still seeing some pretty strong winds. I'll be interested to see what the winds are like at the Dubuque Regional Airport, as you mentioned, and still have that tornado warning in effect, although it is all radar indicated. Some strong winds and hail elsewhere. It does look like that part of the storm certainly staying near the city of Dubuque, near the Dubuque Regional Airport, and then heading farther toward the south, eventually heading over toward areas near Menominee in areas of Joe Davis County. It has moved past the city of Epworth. There still are some scattered thunderstorm cells along Highway 20 farther off toward the west. None of these warned at the present time. Certainly some small hail possible or a brief gusty wind, a little bit of lightning as well as rain, but much more isolated in nature. I'll continue to watch those, but thankfully no major warnings on those at all. As we look at Dubuque County, we do have to get to the south, and there you go into the Jones County warning that we've been following as the Onslow storm continues to move off toward the east into areas of Jackson County. Also likely some very large hail in portions of Scotch Grove, right along Highway 38. Severe thunderstorm warning also continues for Oxford Junction up toward Wyoming, and that'll move toward Monmouth as it moves off into areas of Jackson County, out of areas of Cedar and Jones County. You go farther south, there's the warning that Corey had outlined. Severe thunderstorm and tornado warning, basically the same area near the Crawfordsville area, heading off toward the east. That will continue to move into Louisa County as it moves to the east, heading toward Wapello, potentially near Columbus Junction as well. That warning is in effect until 7:30.
Still watching that Dubuque County warning in particular with that rotation located near the airport or in the southern side of the city of Dubuque. Highlighted there, it's a little hard to see, but it's that small area of rotation. No reports, but the National Weather Service agrees that we're seeing that rotation strengthening. So if you live in any of those areas along Highway 52, any of those communities closer to the Mississippi River, between the highway and the river, very much seek shelter now. Joe Davies County as well. I do not believe they've issued a tornado warning there, but you are downstream, so think of areas near Galena. I would be getting involved very, very soon too. There may be some indication as well, I'm going to pull back here on Pinpoint Doppler radar, that the rotation near the Jones County area is starting to perhaps pick up a little bit again. It's exiting Jones County into Jackson County, but seeing a broad area of rotation that may be trying to become a little bit less broad. And as that tightens up, you could see tornadic development potentially. It'd be now moving just into Jackson County, south of the Canton area. And then we're also watching more storms back off to the west. Like you said, Joe, still got some stuff to deal with here in terms of potentially very strong storms until things start to clear out, at least temporarily, for the rest of the evening.
Let's go ahead and take a look. We have new video in from Wyoming. This also that same cell. That certainly looks like it could be on the ground.
Oh yeah,
about
right
a
in the middle.
10-second video. Oh yeah, there it is in the middle. I was looking off to the right.
Yep, me too.
It's right in the center.
Yep.
You can see the thin funnel. I was looking off to the right, but that definitely the same one that we saw in the Onslow area from the video previously. So yeah, most definitely confirmed on that as it was moving through areas of Jones County. Again, have not seen any damage reports yet from Jones County, but our news crews are efforting and they will certainly let us know if they see some.
So a couple new tornado warnings have been issued. Joe, I'll let you go ahead and look at, if you want to briefly, the one in Joe Davies County.
Okay,
So that extends past the Dubuque area.
Yep, so that takes the Dubuque County warning and extends it into Joe Davis, as well as just a thin sliver probably. Yeah, the far notch, if you will, on the top of Jackson County. That goes until 7:30. Radar indicated rotation. That's from the storms that are moving past Dubuque right now. You see our Dubuque City Cam showing not only the frequent lightning, the heavy rain, but also the movement a little bit on the City Cam as well. Indicating some high winds. High winds within this system. Not really worrying about hail right now, but this will be passing through the Galena area. That in effect until 7:30. An additional tornado warning issued as well.
Yeah, take a look at that one down toward Jones County. So it's actually for the storm behind the storm that's exiting into Jackson County. It's for the one in Jones County. This goes until 7:15. And yeah, there has been an area of rotation that's been sharpening up here too. So I'm going to go ahead, we got Max 2 up now. So I'm going to switch over to the velocity view, and it's this area really, again, very close to Scotch Grove, embedded within some rain, that there is some rotation. It's not, again, a very extremely distinct, but it is there. And so the National Weather Service wanting to exercise caution. And we've seen storms quickly spin up tornadoes this afternoon. And so no reason not to use that little extra bit of caution. The environment still very much conducive to that. So if you live anywhere south of Scotch Grove, this would be an area to watch out for. So it's north of Onslow again. See, the latest information would perhaps put it closer to the area, again, still south of Scotch Grove, but right in line with where we've had that previous storm moving through. This storm is moving at a brisk 35 miles per hour. It also has the potential for ping pong ball sized hail. So something to keep in mind as the storm moves through. So we'll give a storm track to this new area of rotation. That takes it toward Clay Mills at about 6:58. Canton, which is right over the border into Jackson County. You already have a tornado warning for the first storm. You'll have a second storm moving through at about 7:01. That gives you the same chance of an area of rotation that could produce a tornado. No reports at this point, radar indicated, but certainly a possibility with that storm moving through the Jones County area. 2 storms moving through the Jones County area. Pretty significant storms too. We'll put the traditional reflectivity view on here, and you can see 2 distinct storms with 2 tornado warnings, and a third storm to the south, not severe thunderstorm warning for southern Jones County too. So you're kind of from all directions in eastern Jones County still under the threat of additional severe weather.
Camille, what have you been seeing?
Just been kind of trying to keep an eye on CityCam. So Dubuque is in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and just kind of seeing as that storm has passed through the area, lots of rain falling from there. High winds have been also something we've seen, as that's caused limited visibility in a lot of areas as that rain has passed through the area. So that's also going to cause some issues potentially too. You can just see the water blowing across the CityCam right now. But also been taking a look at some of our other CityCams across the area. I'm going to pull up our Cascade CityCam. It doesn't have a great image of the storm that we're looking at in Jones County, but it does give kind of like that backside of it, which is something that you can kind of just see the storm off in the distance there, of seeing that potential for just kind of a storm in the distance again. So not a great shot of what the storm is being able to produce. It is, again, that rotation in that storm that is why there's a tornado warning on it, but still, you do see that Cascade has a storm off in the distance.
Strong winds, Joe. It's 89 mile per hour gusts reported at the Dubuque airport.
So yes, rightly warned on. Have no tornado reports in Dubuque County, but the strong winds certainly there. It'll be interesting to see what type of damage reports we do get. We've had some damage reports in spots. I know our news teams are efforting that as well to see what is out there. It seems it has been limited in spots, but if it is your house or your building, that certainly is not something that we want to see. Showed some damage earlier in the Winthrop area, some trees down. Also had some grain bins and some ripped off, it looked like some metal off of some bins, as well as some roof damage in spots. And then it's not to say what the hail in some spots could have done as well, as it's been falling across all of eastern Iowa. As far as the warnings we have in effect, continuing to follow 2 tornado warnings right now. One for all of Jackson County, that's until 7:15, but then right behind that system, a second tornado warning that was issued. This for Jones County, also until 7:15. Hail size in that storm about 1.5 inches, but it's the rotation in that storm that has to be watched very carefully. Near the Onslow area again, just off to the east of Scotch Grove, north of Wyoming, kind of that same area hit by another storm, and a second tornado warning for that exact same area.
I understand that we have more new video of that storm in Jones County earlier when it was producing the tornado. That's a good view of it. And as they zoom their camera in, you can see that condensed funnel in the middle and that area of debris rotating around it. It's a very clear view of that skinny, but still strong, or, at least packing a punch, that tornado as it moves through. So very ominous video there sent to us from a viewer.
appreciate the video that was sent. Again, safety is key when you're doing that. As far as you know of, Tristan, any damage reports at all across Jones County? Okay, as of yet, Newsroom has not heard any damage reports in Jones County. We'd love to hear that continue, that would be the case as that storm moved through and certainly did produce that tornado. That storm itself now in Jackson County under a tornado warning, second tornado warning across areas of Jones County, back toward Scotch Grove, Onslow, again right along Highway 136, just to the east of Highway 38. Elsewhere, what's going on? Let's take a look. Lynn County right now, pretty quiet. Johnson County, pretty quiet. What moved through did produce some small hail earlier. We had some dime to possibly quarter-size hail reports across areas of Lynn County. Had some ping pong ball size reports in areas of Johnson County. Largest report we had that was confirmed was baseball size hail in portions of Floyd County. Those were earlier, so certainly some very large hail as well. Down to the south, that storm has moved out of Washington County, so that takes it all the way into Louisa County, that tornado warned storm, so out of the TV9 viewing area. That will go until 7:30. We're really kind of concentrating now our efforts on watching the storms that are off along Highway 20 and just to the south in areas of Jones County, Jackson County, through Dubuque County. That's where the warnings still are in effect. You're certainly still seeing some heavier rains in the Manchester area. Also, the potential is there for some small hail in those storms. We haven't had any major reports of any large hail in those storms. And really, Dubuque County right now, just to the east of Dyersville, could be some hail as that system moves back in as well, either under tornado and or severe thunderstorm warnings for all the cells that are moving through.
We're still tracking those tornado warnings in Jones County, like you were discussing, Joe. The rotation is north of Onslow again, so it's in the same sort of neighborhood as before. One storm followed after another. And another pretty strong area of rotation in Jackson County, too. That would be west of Fulton, pretty rural parts of the world there. But there are, of course, some folks out in that area, and so that's why that warning goes on. It would be moving north of Maquoketa, it looks like at this point, but toward the Fulton and Andrew area. Springbrook would be involved as well. Most of the areas of rotation in Dubuque County are about to cross the river, so if you're in Galena, you're still in line for some stronger storms, but we are seeing that tornadic threat start to reduce a little bit in Dubuque County, which is good to see. Hopefully we can get that out of there and get these storms out of here in general, because we're just not seeing the same sort of redevelopment in a widespread fashion back toward the western portions of the viewing area. In fact, did the Des Moines Weather Service trim back some of their tornado watch?
They are starting to trim back some of it. It's just not showing up on our graphics quite yet of where they're starting to trim. Okay. But they are starting to pull back on how many of the counties across even eastern Iowa are included in that tornado watch.
Yep, so back toward Black Hawk and Franklin, Grundy, Marshall, Hardin, the western portions of the area starting to get out of that watch as the threat for new storm development, at least not imminent. Still there potentially again as we go into the night, but with this round of storms, we're starting to see it not totally wind down, but start to wind down.
And that's, again, what we'd expect. They will do that as soon as they can. Once you notice it's updated, Camille, let me know.
Yep,
or just let me know and you can go to what the new update is as far as who is out of the watch officially. But again, there's the two areas of rotation that Corey has pinpointed. The rotation that's right along Highway 136, just off to the east of Scotch Grove, same area that we looked at earlier for rotation, near the Onslow area. Second rotation moving across areas of Jackson County. Have had reports farther north with the storms that move through Dubuque County at the Dubuque Airport, 89-mile-an-hour winds. So as that system moved through, it also produced some very strong winds. Thankfully, again, have not heard a lot of damage reports. There's been a couple. There's been a couple of buildings that possible grain bin down, that over in the Delhi, Manchester area, portions of Delaware County as that system moved through. The Winthrop area also reporting a little bit of damage, which we certainly saw in the photos that were sent in. So not unheard of, but not widespread at this point. thankfully, and not major in many, many areas as these storms continue to move through.
Sometimes it takes a little time, so hopefully time does not bring in more information in this case. But I believe, Camille, you've got that tornado watch trim back updated now.
Yes, if we can pull up Max 3, please. But across the TV9 viewing area, Grundy, Blackhawk, and Tama counties are the 3 counties that are no longer included in that tornado watch. Likely going to continue to just watch this be trimmed back further and further as the threat of these storms continues to move off towards the east, and we don't necessarily see any redevelopment of storms that would potentially have the threats that we were considering, which is that large hail tornado activity that we have been seeing throughout this evening. But yeah, again, just kind of going to watch as the National Weather Service starts to trim it back and as the storms just move out of the area.
Nope, I think that's what we'll continue to see, which is good news, and that's the news that we want to hear. I understand we have some video this near Oxford Junction. We're looking at, again, a picture of a tornado. Right in the center of your picture, you can see that. Again, a very thin, would that be the same one that moved out of Cedar? Is that?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So you can see it right in the center of your picture right there. The very thin rope-like funnel. You can see some debris in the bottom of that, so certainly touching the ground. So yes, confirmed tornado again for all the videos and that. Thanks for getting those to us. Hopefully everyone stayed safe and the damage will be minor in any areas that got hit by damage. There's a look at the latest at pinpoint Doppler radar. A few scattered cells now moving, the strongest moving out of Dubuque County, heading into Joe Davis County. That tornadic warned storm continued. Those are the storms that produced up to an 89 mile an hour gust at the Dubuque Regional Airport earlier. And then the strong cells still moving out of Jackson and Jones County. Have to walk those off toward the east. The Jones County warning officially goes until 7:15. As we watch that activity. Also likely producing some large hail. That certainly is going to be the case as well. But that's really it. As we glance back across the TV9 viewing area, we aren't seeing much else. There's a little scattered development back into areas of Butler County right now.
One more storm back there.
And that's like the 3rd or 4th time they've had storms develop there and move through. That's where the cell developed that produced the potential baseball-sized hail that moved through as well. Farther to the southwest, we notice no development. So that's the good news, and that's why, as Camille pointed out, that watch is being trimmed back a bit, and likely will continue to be. That doesn't mean there won't be more overnight kind of activity, but is something certainly that can be won't be sustained for a while, get a break, and then more moves in. Now, there's still a threat, though, of some severe storms tomorrow again.
There is, and let's sort of step you through some of the information we have looking ahead as we go into your Wednesday. So we've got that threat again returning for that time frame again during the afternoon and evening. It's not like today. The ingredients are different. So we're not going to see the exact same outcome, but that potential is there. And it's a few days away. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but Friday offers another opportunity as well. Both are first alert days like today, and that chance will be there with us.
And the threats tomorrow? Similar,
yeah, we have an all threats day, but more so really going to be focusing on damaging winds, large hail. Tornadic activity isn't that primary threat that they're really focusing on. It's going to be hail yet again that we'll likely be seeing moving across the TV9 viewing area and offering potential damage there.
And the boundary we talked about today, all important tomorrow again.
Yep, very much so. How fast does it move through? If it clears areas quicker than expected, then we would get out of that risk faster, which would be, of course, good news. Give us more of a break. Thursday, by the way, I just want to highlight, it's going to be awesome.
It's a great day.
Yeah, it's going to be well into the 70s, dry, no storms on Thursday. Good day if you've been wanting to enjoy this warmer weather. That's the day to do it. Today has not been the day necessarily, but we got that coming up in a couple days.
Either you get a chance to look ahead to Friday at all on timing. Is it looking afternoon, evening again, potentially?
Yeah, afternoon, evening, potentially even more overnight timing on that too. So just something we'll continue to track and give latest timing and updates.
As you discussed on First at 4 earlier, that front is going to be the one that really pushes out this more unstable air mass. It's going to bring in a nice, cool, refreshing change for the weekend.
We've got 50s for the highs, and we also have freezing temperatures on Sunday morning. So we will likely see a frost or freeze warning put out at some point in time because it's now garden season. People are thinking about, have done, have bought, have planted. So that's the change that's coming with Friday's web. This one's not going to bring a huge temperature change. Not big, but the one that comes Friday will. So again, the weather in Iowa changes rapidly. We're going to experience it.
Sure does. Why don't we take a quick look at Max 2, and we can see some of the things that we're talking about. Maybe look a little bit forward. And so this is about where we stand right now on Pinpoint Futurecast. I'm just going to go ahead and play this for a moment. Notice that it takes it out of the area within the next couple of hours, and then we get a bit of a lull. But I want you to watch as we get later into the night. Where this frontal boundary is set up, there could be some additional development. Now, the risk for tornadic activity by this point in the night looks pretty low, but additional stronger storms would still be possible after about 10 to midnight. We could see some larger hail potentially in a few storms, and those will sort of percolate and produce heavy rain where they stick around too, and they go later into the night. So not expecting necessarily a thunder-free night.
Correct.
As we go ahead, but we do catch a little bit of a break as we get toward the start of Wednesday. Now then we were talking about the longer term picture, and I'm going to pull up a different view here of Pinpoint Futurecast. Bear with me, kind of switching looks here as we get through and into tomorrow. I'm going to take a longer range picture, and so we'll take a look at that. You get those areas of storms through tonight, and then tomorrow, well, yeah, some new development late in the afternoon and evening. But again, where's that front? That's going to be key in terms of who sees what. I skipped ahead way too fast there. Bear with me again. So late afternoon, evening, similar time frame, maybe a bit more of a southern focus tomorrow than today. And so that will be a little bit of a change. And so something to certainly keep an eye on. And then we look ahead again until Friday when we have that severe weather risk return.
Do have reports now in from the Jones County EMA of no damage reports at this point.
Okay, that's good.
Which is great. There have been hail. There has been hail. There have been tornadoes in the area, and still under a tornado warning for a small portion of Jones County, the second one of the afternoon. And again, that is good news to hear. No reports of damage. Hope that will continue. But we're early enough that we should be able to see that damage or hear it if it did occur. The tornado warning that's in effect until 7:15 for Jones County continues to move north, just north of Wyoming, heading into Jackson County again. That activity moving quite rapidly away from Monticello, away from Scotch Grove, where it was moving through a bit earlier, not in the Anamosa area as well. Farther to the north, we'll take a look at Dubuque County, see how you're doing. As far as the strongest cell that produced that strong wind at the airport, that's off to the east, but boy, between Dyersville and Cascade, right along Highway 136 near Worthington, the potential is going to be there for some large hail as well, again, as that system moves through. So we're not done yet, so we'll have to watch that. That system continue to move off toward the east, so that could again affect Epworth near Piasta or just to the south over toward Bernard as well as it moves off to the east at about 35 miles an hour. We'll give you farther to the west, and you can see it's still isolated in nature. That cell that we talked about up near the Waverly area, between near Clarksville. You've heard us talk about Clarksville much earlier in our coverage, near Grundy Center, near Allison. That also certainly could be producing some hail. That's right along Highway 3 as you move just southwest of Clarksville. So still some scattered activity down to the south and west. Pretty clear, but that northeast Iowa, yet some isolated cells, and of course the warnings that still continue near Dubuque County and the heavier rains and higher winds that could move through the Dubuque County area as well.
Yeah, it sure looks, at least at this point, the tornado threat in Dubuque County, despite the warning. No, the warning doesn't
Warning
continue.
is done.
Excuse me, yeah, has ended. So it really is just portions of Jones County into Jackson County we're watching, highlighted in red there on your screen. There was a report in Jackson County of a tornado near Andrew based on a video sent to local media. Of course, this is moving out of the TV9 viewing area, but it's that area just north of Andrew where we've seen that rotation. So if you have friends and family off that direction, make sure, just give them a little message, make sure that they're heeding the warnings and staying safe. Back in Jones County, this area where the second warning continues, yeah, no, or at least not nearly as obvious of any sign of rotation within this storm. Wouldn't be shocked if they let that warning go a little bit ahead of schedule, just because that wind signature on our velocity view is really falling apart, which is good. Yeah, that's a great thing. We want to see that. So the biggest tornadic threat right now is in Jackson County, north of Andrew.
We'll continue to follow the storms yet for a period of time as that warning does continue in Jones County, but we don't have any additional warnings other than that one in the TV9 viewing area specifically. We give you a wide view again, just kind of looking across areas of the upper Midwest, you see that we, again, areas of Wisconsin, back across eastern Iowa, kind of the concentrated area that has seen much of the activity throughout the afternoon. We look farther off. There was some activity across areas of Indiana and Ohio earlier, but we really kind of were the area, and it was certainly outlined very well that Wisconsin, areas of Illinois eventually, and Iowa would be the highest as far as any severe weather threat, and that outline that included northeast, east central areas of Iowa, particularly along Highway 20, certainly bared out as well, because that's where all the storms really developed and continued to move through. Oh, there's the storm reports. Do you have storm reports up, Camille?
I do. I have storm reports in Max 3, if we could take that full, please. But as we look at some of the storm reports across the area, a lot of those are just hail reports across the viewing area. You do have a few damage reports across northern parts of the viewing area, where we were watching right along that Highway 20 corridor near Manchester for some potentially seeing some damage there. Saw small trees, branches down, limbs down. Also seeing emergency management reports of potentially seeing some trees down, flagpoles down, likely going to, they are thinking at this point, not confirmed yet by the National Weather Service, but straight line winds instead of seeing potentially that tornadic activity that was warned through that area. But Dubuque area has also seen some pretty high wind gusts there, 88 miles per hour at the Dubuque airport. Also seeing 70 miles per hour just to the north of that and to the northeast. But a lot of hail reports as we look across the TV9 viewing area, even more so than anything else as we look across the area.
A couple of videos we want to take a look at. The first one, and we will dismiss, that was across areas of Jackson County. It's really another warning that's issued in the same area for a tornado warning. This, help me out again. This is in Piasta. Remember the winds in Dubuque? So before it reached Dubuque, strong winds in Piasta. You see what happened, that semi pushed over as well. High profile vehicle, very difficult if they got hit by a wind gust. Likely what happened, looks like some damage there as well, as we can see, to that building off to the side. So again, we take a look at that in the Piasta area, and also some roof damage on that building as well as we look off toward the right. At the Dubuque Regional Airport, 89 mile an hour gust reported, and the Piasta and Dubuque not that far apart. So certainly that shows what that gust of wind or gusty winds did in that areas. Did we have another video too to take a look at? Okay. That's what it looks like right now. Still have that tornado warning in effect for Jones County for another 8 minutes or so. Have not seen them expire that. They've extended another tornado warning across areas of Jackson into Joe Davis County for that same cell that's moving out of Jones County and continuing to head off toward the east. The potential would be there for some large hail, and again, that rotation that could potentially develop into a tornadic storm, although we have not had any reports for a while across Jones County or areas of Jackson County of any tornado that has been present. Here's the second look of a video. This is Center Junction. Again, we're kind of looking at that same, many people got video of the tornado, and again, very similar to what we saw. The rope-like funnel that was out there off to the right, and it did now kind of almost start to dissipate a little bit in this picture, as you can see. And we watched it. Again, hopefully, and across Jones County at least, we have not heard of any damage reports. There have been damage reports across areas of Delaware County, so certainly news crews checking on those to see exactly what's happening. And that's what's happening right now. That's really the main weather story. Isolated cells back off toward the west, as Corey showed you. Could see more development later tonight in the area, but our tornadic threat really has diminished quite a bit, which is good news. Still, that isolated cell moving to the north of Waverly has not grown in size and has not produced anything in the way of large hail, which is good news as well. That means we just continue to watch the cells as they move toward the Mississippi, heading toward Illinois as well as Wisconsin. As we looked at that hail that was near south of Dyersville, near the Worthington area, still could be some hail in that cell as well, but not as prominent as was earlier with the stronger signature that came out with the purples that you saw, which could show some hail, potentially large hail in spots.
Yeah, things will take a break as we've been discussing. in terms of storm activity here around eastern Iowa. And then we could see new development later tonight. The tornado threat would be significantly lower, as it typically does go as we get late into the night. But the hail threat could still be there. And this would be more areas along and south of Highway 20. You can kind of see that we've got this frontal boundary stretching across the state. And so it really does, I'm not going to give it a warm or cold front signature at this point, but kind of snakes that way and it's moving through. And so areas to the south are more unstable than areas to the north. But areas along that boundary, you have a pretty good focus for storms potentially later tonight. Now, this will continue to drift southward over the next few hours, and so it may end up a little bit closer to this area based on the last information that we have. And so Cedar Rapids, Iowa City could be in for more storms later. The severe weather extent is a little bit to be determined as we go through it, but at this point, the risk for any sort of tornadic activity really starting to trim away and move away, which is good news.
That's what we want to hear. And unless the Jones County warning gets extended for some reason to Jones County, and it does not look like it will, we'll stick with you for about the next 5 minutes or so. Watch that unless that's canceled earlier. Then we'll let you get back to normal programming as well as your evening as the storms continue to push across portions of Highway 20 to the north on a more isolated and non-severe basis, which is good news. Let's give you a look at that tornado watch again. And as Camille showed us earlier, parts of it have been trimmed back. I would expect more of this to be trimmed back as well as we work our way through the next couple of hours, particularly off toward the north, as Corey pointed out, where we do have the more stable air in place. But that still is in effect officially until 10 o'clock tonight.
That is correct. Luckily, we're starting to see things wind down, but of course we'll continue to collect reports. If you have more photos or video to share with us, please do so. kcrg.com/unews, or find the link on the front page of kcrg.com, or you can find the button on the KCRG First Alert Weather app, lower right corner. It's got that submit button. That's the way to get it to us so we can see it and share it with our viewers, so everybody knows what's going on around eastern Iowa, gives us a better picture of what's going on, and we can even relay those to the National Weather Service too, to let them know where to look potentially for damage, or if there was a tornado report, we could send them that way to get storm surveys as we get through. Just looking over Camille's shoulder of what you've provided so far, and we thank you so much. A lot of those tornado clips and pictures that we've been sharing already, as well as lots of hail. That has been the theme of the day, and that will continue to be the theme as we head into the night in terms of getting additional reports and additional information from these storms once they have started to move out.
We have not got on the area. What's the largest hail that you've seen? Camille, you've been looking at the pictures.
I have a photo up right now that's comparing it to a dog toy that looks close to a tennis ball in size.
Okay.
Okay.
And the hailstones are pretty similar to that to that ball. So that was near Center Junction tonight. So pretty big hailstones. That's probably the biggest photo that I can see currently off of, just quickly taking a glance at some of the photos that have been submitted. But baseball size is
Oh, there
still
it is.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the photo.
Yep, roughly tennis ball sized, I would say, give or take a little bit.
But yeah, definitely some bigger hailstones. Otherwise, just a lot of 1.5 to 2 inch hailstones too still in there too. So
Just to let you know, you see the blue that popped up. It's a flash flood warning that's in effect for portions of Jones County and then across Jackson County. It says these storms were moving through. They're producing also some very, very heavy rain. So the blue outline you see, which is near the Scotch Grove area, just near Monticello, not quite to Monticello, but close off to the south and east. That's the area under a flash flood warning. Heavy rains in that area causing some ponding on area roadways, causing some of those creeks also to or the ditches to fill up a bit as well.
We've got about 90 seconds left in this tornado warning, but the threat for tornadic activity in Jones County really has wound down. So, in summary, Joe, as we expected, but hopefully with only a few bumps and bruises rather than significant damage, which the atmosphere today was primed for the potential, where we could have had strong tornadoes. We did see the very large hail come to play here in eastern Iowa, but that we're still gathering more information. But the tornadic threat, while it did produce some tornadoes, not long lasting, not particularly intense, at least based on the information we have right now.
And that's news we like to hear.
Yes, definitely. We don't really want to hear the reports of damage. We don't want to hear big tornadic activity or actual touchdowns. So it's a really good night that we didn't hear a whole lot of reports.
So we continue to track the storms. We'll continue to watch the storms both now and all the way through our spring and summer season. We know that you have many ways to receive severe weather information. We thank you a lot from the First Alert Storm Team for choosing us to watch your information, be it on our stream, on air, or wherever we put that information out. Thank you again, as Corey has mentioned, for the pictures and videos. Those really help us and also help the National Weather Service verify what those warnings do and if those warnings are correct as well. And tonight, certainly, they seem to have been. For meteorologist Corey Thompson, meteorologist Camille Dink, I'm meteorologist Joe Winters. Always keep it here on your trusted local news and weather source, KCRG TV 9.
Wish we had a storm vehicle on this one. 2 and 7. 7 had a Weather Channel storm chaser.
Oh, sure.
Really?
So that's who they are.
Yep, that too. That it took me a second. Arc something or Peak, Charles Peak or something like that. I googled him because they had his name up there. Why are they putting his name up there on their storm chaser? Weather Channel guy. That's what it is. Weather Channel storm chaser.
Hey, John, we actually do need to do a little cut in here if you don't mind.
Yeah, I saw they
All right.
did some pretty good,
Thanks.
live video from their vehicle.
Our hail here was not enough to take out the weather rod,
You didn't put it in outside either, it was inside.
even if it was outside.
Oh, I know it wasn't. This Terry is the one that sent the time size, that was Terry with the time size for Seattle.
Okay.
Yes, ready to go. Max 1, still good. Mike, yep, Mike 3, Max 1. All right, stand by, guys. Just wanted to update you here from the First Alert Weather Lab. Meteorologist Corey Thompson joining you with a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is for southern Dubuque County as well as far northeastern Jones and northern Jackson County. It goes until 8 o'clock tonight for 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch hail. This is radar indicated. It's this area in the flashing box you see. This storm is moving off to the east pretty quickly at about 45 miles per hour. Put a quick storm track on there for you. Some areas that have already seen one round of storms move through, but a second round with that potential for some gusty winds and scattered hail. Close to the Dubuque Regional Airport again at about 7:25. Closer to La Motte at 7:38. St. Donatus, which crosses over into Jackson County, you're at 7:39 for this secondary warning as these storms move through. Now, this is about it for the TV9 viewing area in terms of overall storm activity. There still are a handful of severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings for Jackson and Joe Davies counties. All of this storm activity moving out and giving us at least a temporary break as we go through the evening. But if conditions warrant, we'll be back with you here on KCRG TV9 for more information. Until then, stay with your trusted local news and weather source, KCRG TV9.